What's up, everybody? See, we got 3 people in here. Oh, I look like I feel right now. I had really good news before coming on this stream, and 4 minutes ago, it's like I got my throat cut, but it wasn't. I look at it like it wasn't meant to be. I asked the good Lord if he doesn't want this to take place, then make it so. So it's probably for the best. But there's no, I honestly, like, shopping for a car is probably, I was going to talk about car shopping for a couple of minutes here, the new video. And I hope this doesn't turn into a 2-hour discussion because I think there's other things we could talk about. But I bought a car. It was a done deal. I went and looked at it yesterday. Took it on a 25-minute test drive. We went like 25 miles on a test drive. All was said and done. The guy said, we negotiated a price so he can get into the details and whatnot. The guy was going to get it inspected for the emissions because that has to be done to register it, whatever. For me, I was buying it from a private seller. I went to the bank today to take out the cash. The guy was supposed to deliver it tomorrow. And that was part of our negotiated price, that he would go and get the emissions done, drop it off at my house, so that he's going to keep his license plates. And that means that all I have to do is go to this tax office and get my license plates, put my license plates on the car. 4:00 this afternoon, the guy sends me a text with a photograph of the inspection report saying that he got the inspection done. I'll see you tomorrow. 4 minutes. So I'm all queued up, ready to tell you guys I just bought a car. 4 minutes before I get on this live stream, 4 minutes, the guy just calls me and said he sold the car to somebody else because the guy offered him $700-800 more than what we agreed to. So I'm holding the cash in my hand. I just rode my bike 15 miles to go to the bank to get the cash to give this fucking guy who I bought the car from yesterday. And he just calls me 4 minutes ago and said, sorry, I just sold the car to somebody else, because he had the car listed for a price and I negotiated it down. And then he just decided to sell it 5 minutes ago to somebody who offered him the full price. I don't even think the car was worth the full price, to be honest. And it's probably meant to be. It's like I still got the money to go get a car, but I'm back to square one again. I don't know how many more fucking weeks I can go through this, looking at one car after the next, buying, like going through this whole private seller dealership. They're all a bunch of swindlers, thieves, jackasses. The whole thing sucks. But I'm just going to chalk it up to, it's probably the good Lord answering my prayer, saying that, I said, look, if you don't want me to get this car, make it so that I can't get it. Stop me from doing it before I make a mistake. So maybe it was a mistake, and there's reasons to believe it could have been a mistake. I drove the car. It was nice. It was in very nice shape. Has a lot of miles on it, but it had a new engine and a whole bunch of other stuff done to it that was, half the car was brand new. Clean title. But man, am I upset. Because this was, like, I've been living my life today and yesterday. Well, I've been living my life today believing that this is over with, that I'm going to have a car tomorrow And all I have to do is make one more ride down to a tax office to fill out a couple forms and get my license plates, bring them home, and boom, I'm done. And now I'm back to square one. So I was talking to you guys last week about possibly going on a long bike ride to go look at this Mercedes that's 40 miles away from me. And I can't bring myself to do it. I'm capping my distance. I'm just because of how I feel and my energy, and I've got a problem with my foot now where every time I get on the bicycle and go somewhere within 10 miles, my foot starts to have this really horrible pain, and it's really starting to get worse. And so if I get on a bicycle and ride 40 miles just to not buy a car and have to ride another 40 miles to come home, I'm done. I'm going to be finished from that. But yeah, I mean, you just saw me, like you're seeing me live real time, because I had all this stuff queued up to show you guys, hey guys, I just got a car. It's coming tomorrow. Yeah, it's over. No, I just got I didn't get swindled out of any money or nothing like that. But I just wasted a trip. I had to go to the bank anyway to deposit a check. So it wasn't the end of the world. I took out a whole ton of cash. I took out enough cash to pay for this car. And like, I've just been living in this world today that it's done. Yeah. All right, let's try this. All right, am I back? All right. Hopefully it's working again. I think this was a YouTube glitch. Sweet. This happens to a lot of people, so I'm not going to cry about that. JS says, yeah, Lord has his reason every time. Yeah. So nothing is straightforward. I would say that the positive that came out of this was I found out a few things. I thought, and I was told, that my driver's license address has to match my current residence when I go to get the license plates and do all the paperwork, which is not actually true because I verified this. But there's a website where you can go change your. So I never changed my address on my driver's license when I moved into that tool shed that you guys saw me living in. And I was going to, but then when I found out that the slumlord was causing me problems and I was going to have to leave, I just said, forget it. Why change my address just to have to change my address all over again? So I left it alone. Hold on a second. I'm thirsty. I gotta do something here. No. All right. This will be fine. All right. All right. So, so there's a website where you can go and update your driver's license address and take care of that kind of stuff online. And so I was like, I bookmarked it and I'm like, yeah, I'll do this when I can handle Texas nonsense without getting all upset about it, because I just know that I know something's going to happen. So sure enough, I go to sign up for this website, and it's like a 5-step process. And I enter in all my information, the driver's license number, all the stuff they ask for, social security number, everything. You get to the very last step and it says, sorry, we can't verify your information. Please try again. And I did this 3 times. And then it locked me out and it said, you can't try again for 24 hours. It was like that. I felt like that in the movie Idiocracy when the girl's trying to order from the Carl's Jr. machine. And it's like, thank you for ordering your big ass fries. And she's banging on it and it like shoots the poison gas at her. And I don't know if you ever saw that movie. Oh my God, it's the funniest movie ever. It's more of a documentary than fiction, but that's what I felt like with this Texas website. So I had to go and set up another appointment to go to the DMV in person. You can't just go to the DMV here in Texas. You have to make an appointment. The nearest appointment was 3 weeks away. So now I've got to wait 3 weeks to go to the DMV. And I'm pissed because 3 weeks from now, I'll go to the DMV just to change my address on my license. And I'll get in there and they'll tell me, oh, you can't do it today because you're missing this, or you need this other document, or you need something else. I figured I'd bring everything possible that has my new address on it. Well, I'm sure they'll find a reason to not do it. So I'm kind of livid right now about that. But there's more to the story. So yesterday, after I bought the car that turned out to be not bought, I came home and I called the tax office where I would have to do the paperwork for a private sale of an automobile. Super friendly. The people were really friendly on the phone, very helpful. Like outrageously friendly and helpful. So I'll give them credit where the credit's due. They answered all my questions. And the number one thing they said was, no, your driver's license. I told them, I said, I just moved to a different county. I didn't tell them how long ago. And I said, look, the DMV is telling me it's going to be 3 weeks or more to change my address. And so they were like, oh, you don't need to bother with that. We just need some sort of proof of address. We just need, you could use your lease, a bank statement, paycheck stub, whatever you got that has a utility bill. We don't need much. Just bring something that proves your address. And you'll need this form and that form. You'll need the title of the vehicle signed over and a few other things. And they told me, this is what the sales tax is. And they told me everything. And so I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But you have to make an appointment to go there. But the following, so there would be an available appointment next week. But I figured what I would do is when the guy delivers the car tomorrow, then I would call and get the insurance done. And then I would make the appointment. Probably next Tuesday, I would go to the tax office and get my plates. So it was also like I learned some stuff, and I'm actually not averse to doing a private sale now that I know what's involved and where to go and how to do it. So that was, that's a positive outcome of this experience, is that I'm more educated than I was before. So I can go to a dealership and have them do it if maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But I know what to do now. And then on top of that, this is the good part. I had sent email to the tech support. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. This is so brilliant. But the Texas DMV has a tech support email address for that website. And so I sent them a message thinking, what are they going to do about it? Nothing. They're just going to tell me to go to the DMV. So they sent me a message back with 5 or 6 different things to try to set up an account on that website. And the one thing they told me, it's going to make a hell of a lot of sense. But in the fields, when you're filling out the information, and maybe this will be, if any of you are from Texas and you come into this problem, remember what I'm about to tell you. When you're filling out all your information, it's going to ask you your driver's license number. It's going to ask another thing, your social security number, and it's going to ask you for your first name, your last name, your date of birth, etc. All your identifying information. Where your first name goes, you're supposed to put your first name space middle name. You're supposed to put your first and middle name in that space. As soon as I did that, boom, it worked. They let me log into that website. They're like, oh, we found your driver's license. Here it is. What do you want to do? Change my address. What's your new address? It's going to be $11. Okay, boom, done. They gave me a temporary driver's license to print out, PDF, with my new address on it that's valid if I got pulled over or need to do anything. I have the photo ID, but I also have this piece of paper that is a valid temporary driver's license for Texas. So I got it done. I got it done today. I'm like, wow. So I actually emailed the tech support back. I'm like, thanks. I'm like, you might want to change your instructions on the website to say first and middle name. That might save you guys from getting 1,000 emails a day from people that try to sign up on this website where it says first name, last name, because, because everybody's going to know that in the field that says first name, you have to put your first and middle name. Or how about put a field on there that's middle name? Like, I don't get it. But it worked. It worked like first time, no problem. Boom. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't have to go to the DMV. All I have to do is wait 2, 3, 4 weeks. They said it could take 90 days for the card to come in the mail, the updated driver's license card. But whatever. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. Whatever it is, the piece of paper that you print out from the website is valid for 90 days. And I don't think it's going to take 90 days. When I got my driver's license at the DMV, I think it took 2 weeks for the card to come in the mail. But they gave me a temporary one to print out, and I was good to go with that. So whatever, dude, it's done. One less thing I have to deal with. So now if I do buy a car, I can here's my driver's license and the supplemental update. I just moved, etc. So I can have everything match. But just FYI, in Texas, your driver's license does not have to match the address where you live when you're registering a car or getting your license plates at the place where you do it. So I did learn some stuff yesterday, today, whatever. I'm more educated. I'm more prepared. I know I have a better sense of what to do when this comes along. There is another vehicle I could go look at tomorrow, but I'm not feeling it. I would share my screen, but I'm so pissed off right now that I don't even want to think. I'm kind of like, let's talk about something else. Just because. And so for those of you who joined late, I bought a car yesterday. It was done. As part of the negotiation, I got the guy to say he would deliver the car here to my house because he wants to keep his license plates. He has custom license plates, vanity plates. And so he was going to drop it off here at my house tomorrow and have it inspected so that the emissions inspection is up to date. And then all I have to do is go down to the tax office and get my license plates and do the title transfer. 4 minutes before I get on the live stream, I'm all ready to tell you guys I just bought a car. 4 minutes before I get on the live stream, he calls me up and says, sorry, man, I just sold it to someone else. At 4 o'clock today, 2 hours ago, he sent me a screenshot of the vehicle inspection saying it was done. I'll see you tomorrow. We're good. We're good. 4 minutes before I get on the live stream, he calls me up to tell me he sold it to somebody else. Like, what a douche. I mean, that's fine. You're going to make an extra $600. I'm not even going to show you pictures of it because why? But it was a Subaru Forester. It had a lot of miles on it, but it was in beautiful condition. It had a new engine, all kinds of upgraded aftermarket parts. It was lifted. It had big, brand new tires, but it was an off-roader. It had a cargo rack on top. It was very well decked out. And there was a complete list of everything that had been done to this vehicle. And I drove it. I drove it for half an hour. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It was very nice. But Blue Sky says God saved you, you just don't even know. And that's I can't be too mad about it because on my way back from the bank, I have the cash. I have this big wad of cash in my backpack. I stopped to eat at Chipotle because I was like celebrating. I was like, "Yay, treat yourself, dude. You don't got to ride your bike that much longer, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, God, last chance. If you don't want me to buy this car, you tell me loud and clear. Like, make it so I can't buy the car." I mean, we're done. I mean, I guess he answered my prayer right there. You know what I mean? Like, I really can't complain too much if he's actually just answering my prayer. Like, maybe there was something with this car that I shouldn't, like, maybe this was going to turn into a nightmare if I bought it. Maybe this is going to be a nightmare for the next person who owns it. Who knows? It didn't seem like it, though. It was a nice vehicle. I mean, it was. But what a douche canoe. I mean, what a fucking douchebag. That is some seriously shitty. Would I do the same thing? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, if I were in the guy's shoes and somebody came and looked at my vehicle yesterday and somebody else and I wasn't supposed to do the deal until tomorrow and somebody came at me today. So if somebody came at me today and offered me 800 more, whatever it was, we were at 4,100. He wanted 48 and we were at 41. And I said yesterday, I'm like, I won't be able to get the cash in time. And he was like, yeah, I won't have time to. He's like, let's figure this out tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I'll give you a call later when I know for sure. Because I had to call the tax office and like, I had to find out what I was in for. And so, but last night, as of like 5 o'clock yesterday, it was done. Like, it was a done deal. And that's why I went to the bank and took out the money. That wasn't fun either, but they didn't give me too much of a hassle. But yeah, to sell, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. I had this happen with an apartment once, a long time ago. The guy could have just been doing a douche move to try and see what I would do at the last minute, like putting pressure on me to give him more money. And I just said, oh, all right, good luck then. And I didn't like get mad at him or nothing, but I was like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. Talk to you later. Done. I'm not going to play that game with somebody. But I went and looked at an apartment. This was years ago. This was like my son was like a year old. He's 16 now. My son was like a year old. And I was looking for a new place to live. And I don't even think he was a year old yet. And his mom and I had split, and I was living in this house. And yeah, Neil, yeah, we're cool. Like I'm pissed off because I'm more angry because now I've got to ride my bike another 500 miles before I can finally relax. It's really like the bicycle. The energy is the bicycling's really driving. It's I can't do it right now. Like I'm really starting to fall apart energy wise, like in a massive way. And so every time I get a blow like this with this car search, it's just having an effect. But I'll find something better. Fine. There's a Corolla that one of you guys found last week that was on Craigslist, and it was in pretty good shape. May as well call that. But it's not as cool as this car I was about to get. Okay, so there was an apartment in Pittsburgh a long time ago. Beautiful place, beautiful place. I was living in a house that was really nice, but the utilities were too expensive and winter was coming up, and I needed to slim down. I needed to downsize a bit. And so I found this place, and I looked at it, I got everything, and I was like, okay, I will be there. Like we came up, like we didn't do it on site for whatever reason. I don't remember, but I said, hey, I'll move in. Let's do the lease. We had an appointment for me to meet him and sign the lease and give him the payment. And I was dressed and ready to go out the door. I was dressed and ready to leave. I was less than an hour away from signing this lease. I had an appointment to meet the guy at the place and get the keys and be done right then and there. I would have the keys in my hand, start moving. 45 minutes before I'm supposed to sign the lease, he calls me and he says, look, sorry to do this to you, but I just showed the place to somebody. I'm like, what do you mean? We just agreed that I was going to take the place and you were fine with this, but you're still showing it to people? But anyway, he's like, I just showed the place to somebody who's offering me $200 a month more than what I listed it for. And he tells me, he says, if you're willing to pay me $200 more per month than what I listed the apartment for, then I'll still rent it to you. And it was a house. It wasn't an apartment. It was a full house. But he goes, if you're willing to pay $200 more than what I listed it for, I'll gladly rent it to you still. But I wanted you to know because this guy just came and looked at it today, and he said he's willing to pay me $200 a month more than what I listed it for, and I can't say no to that. And I said, fine. I go, don't fucking call me back. And I hung up on him. I was like, fuck you. And I couldn't tell if he was lying to me, like if this was just some sort of scam where he was just at the very last minute, he thought he had me hooked. And so he could just turn up the juice and try and shaft me for an extra $200 a month at the last minute, thinking that I would cave in and just do it because I wanted to move there so bad. But if somebody does something like that to me, the first thing you're going to get in return is one of these. Like, I'm not, like, that's going to tell me what kind of person you are. And you're shafting me at the very, like, less than an hour before I'm supposed to come sign the lease. I could have been on the way, driving there when you called me. And is that what the previous landlord did? Kind of, except I was already living there when he did it. So, and what did I do in return? I didn't pay him the extra money, and I didn't tell him I was moving out. And then I just left and said, see, I left the keys on the counter, jackass, and walked out the door. So Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I will not respond in kind when somebody does that to me. So, right. I mean, so maybe somebody did offer him twice as much for it. I will show you the vehicle that I just got screwed out of, I think, if I can find it. I can't even believe this. Oh, now Facebook is asking me to rate the seller. I'm pissed about this. You know, I'm not even going to show it to you guys. I think I'm going to give him a bad rating. That's a 1-star review, I think. Or I can just, you know what, forget about it. Like, um, I can't even, I'm just so irritated right now. You know what, though? I guess you came late. Um, I bought a car yesterday, at least handshake on it. It was a 2004 Subaru Forester that was all rebuilt. So it had over 300,000 miles on it, but it had an engine that was new, and it had, like, I would say 3/4 of the vehicle were brand new. Beautiful vehicle. It was like surprisingly, like, wow, beautiful. No leaks, no nothing, no, the whole entire suspension was all brand new. It was lifted, all high-end aftermarket components. Like, somebody bought this car and turned it into like an off-road beast. It was a great looking car. But for the high mileage that it had, the guy negotiated it down. He wanted 4,800 for it. I got him to do it for 4 grand. And then for an extra $100, he said he would get it inspected so that the inspection was new, and he would drop it off at my house. So 4,100 cash. And he was supposed to bring it tomorrow. And as of 4 o'clock today, 4 o'clock, he sends me a text with the inspection report telling me I just got it inspected. Here's the report. And so 4 minutes before I get on the stream, the live stream, he calls me and he says, "Sorry, man, I just sold the car to someone else." He's like, "Somebody came over and was willing to pay full price for it, and so it's already sold. Sorry, man. I know you went and got the money today, and I know that I just sent you a text saying that I'll see you tomorrow, but now I just sold it. Sorry, dude." And I'm like, choke on a dick, asshole. Like, wow. So, new furniture? No, I'm not doing any. This is holding me up. This car search. I can't remember when I got I'm going to look this up, because my life has been, you know how I always talk about when you're about to level up, that when you're about to level up, everything will get crazy and kind of out of control, and it'll just seem like life is chaos right before you get to the next level. Like you're at the end of a video game level, and there's a boss that you got to beat, and so it gets really hard all of a sudden. And then after you beat the boss, boom, you're at the next level. I'm at the boss of the level now. And I'm just looking to see, where is this? Man, how far back do I have to go? Oh, right here. July 30th. July 30th was the day this all started. July 30th, I am at the bank dropping off a check. I get paper checks in the mail. This bank sucks. I don't trust their mobile app. I go in person to deposit checks. I'm in the parking lot of the bank. I get a text message on my phone. And it's a number that resonates as familiar to me, but I didn't know who it was, but it's a Pennsylvania phone number. And I'm like, July 30th, who is this? And so it was the owner of the house I lived in when I was arrested. And she says, I've got this letter in the mail. It looks very important. I think I should send it to you. I've talked about this. So that was the letter from that bank saying I have this money. And it was probably a week or two later when it showed up in my mailbox and I read it for the first time. And I'm like, wow. And then it was a month plus a day from the day that the letter came in my mailbox to the day that I was able to deposit the money in the bank. And then I had to wait another 10 days to get the money after making the deposit. So we're talking from July 30th till today that I've technically been looking for a car. So basically the month of August and in all of September. But I really didn't start looking at cars in person until last week when that check cleared. And so it's like, okay, not a big deal. But it's getting frustrating, to say the least. Mainly because it's holding me back. I don't want to spend $1 of the money on, like, I feel stupid for eating at Chipotle today because I don't want to spend any money until car. I don't want to spend $1 until I get a car. I don't want to get furniture. I don't want to get curtains. I don't want to do anything to my place. I don't want to even go grocery shopping until this car is in my hands and I can drive a freaking car. And so it's holding back everything. Everything in my life is on hold that costs money because I need to get a car. And I just want to make sure that I have all the money. I have a budget is way below, my budget's below what I have. But if I have to go above my budget to get something, I want the freedom to do it. So I don't want to go and spend a bunch of money on my place and then just, wind up. I want to go and spend a bunch of money. I'm out of it, man. I'm so tired right now. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm like, I was asleep. I took a nap. I took a nap and I woke up at 5:45. I woke up at 5:45 this afternoon and I had to do the stream at 6. And it was 4 minutes before I got on the stream that I got this blow that, oh, you just bought a car, but you don't have a car now and you got to start all over again. Neil says, you're like me and you hyper focus on shit. What if you had to live like I'm living right now, you would be pissed off right now. I'll give you the update on my Strava. Here's why. Here, I'm going to tell you why I'm so burned out right now. I'm just going to give it to you with the numbers because it's kind of fun. I'll share my screen. Give me a reason to share my screen. I'm not mad. I'm just burned out. That's what it is. It's not anger. It's burnout. So as of this year, since January, I've gone 3,722.9 miles, and that's including today, on a bicycle or walking in order to get where I need to go, to and from. I can't go grocery. I have to order my groceries online now, or I walk to the grocery store with a backpack. I can't do like the basic things in life, like the most basic things. I'm a seasoned bicyclist who's been riding long distances since I was 14, 15 years old. So I can handle it, but it's gotten to the point this year where I'm done. So I've gone 290 miles here in September alone. I'm going to be probably over 500 for the month because of, yeah, JS says you need that camping getaway. So I've needed the camping getaway for the last year and a half. I haven't done anything fun. I have done absolutely, like, how many fun things have I done since I got to Houston? Zero, none, zero, zilch, nada, not a thing, not one fun thing, not one outing, not one cool restaurant, not one cool experience, one little day trip, not one thing, not one single time. And it's been over a year. I haven't done anything. I haven't seen anything. I don't know what's here. I ride a bicycle to and from a bakery, 50 miles. I work a $10 an hour job, and then I'm burned out for the rest of the week trying to do freelance and other stuff. And I'm just like, so yeah, yesterday and today, I've been in a positive mood thinking, next week, I'm going to have a car. I get to do all this stuff. Yay, I get to enjoy life for a minute. No, no, not yet. But I'm just going to put it out there that I think there's probably a good reason that maybe God just didn't want me to get this car. For, maybe God was like, you need a car that you can trust to go all the way to Pittsburgh and back so that you can go see your kids and that kind of stuff. Maybe this car wouldn't do a good, maybe this car would break down on that trip. Maybe I'm saving myself a headache. So whatever, it's not a big deal. It's just a big deal. It's amplified because I've gone on a bicycle 3,722.9 miles and I'm tired of it. Like, this is my map now. The city of Houston. Now let me heat maps. My heat map. That's not even settings. Show commutes. Okay, done. Is this accurate? Oh yeah, this is my area. This is my spider web of everywhere I've ridden in the city of Houston since I've been here. You can see the darker the line, the more often I take that route. So I work up in this area. I live down in this area. And you can see that I zigzag back and forth between these two areas a lot. And that's about a 25-mile span from here where my hand is and down here at the bottom right. And so now if I want to go look at that Mercedes, for example, the one I'm putting off, that Mercedes is all the way down here where this little plane icon is here. We're actually where it says Pasadena right there. This is where the Mercedes is. So that's a long ride. This long thing here, that was an 80-mile ride right here that you see my finger going up and down. That was 80 miles for me to go all the way up here and back. And that was just to look at a place to live. He's asking my budget, Neil. 5,000-6,000. So the fact that I found a vehicle for 4,000 was awesome. I was really happy about that too, because it gives me more, it would have given me more money to do other things and still, so it was under budget. So like I said, I know there was a reason for me not to get that car. That I prayed about it. I said, God, if you don't want me to get this car, don't let me get it. So yeah, my 80 miles is nuts. It's 3 miles for me to go all the way down here to Pasadena to look at this car if I wanted to go down there. But I've got 10 reasons why I don't. 3 hours I have to plan on it taking 3 hours to get there and 3 hours to ride back if I'm empty-handed. So the 40 miles, I had to ride yesterday to go test drive that car. It was 12 miles each way. It took me 40 minutes to go the 12 miles. And I wasn't even trying to go fast. I rode down there, did the test drive, shook hands with the guy, turned around and rode my bike home. And I was even thinking about going to the bank yesterday to get it over and done with, but I was kind of tired and I just decided to go straight home. And I skipped the bank and I decided I would just do the bank today. Because I'm burned out. I'm not getting anything done. Like, my life is on hold. My life is completely on hold until I figure out how to get a car in my hands. That's it. The same thing happened when I was looking for a new place to live. I was completely burned out. Yeah, Angel says if you want something bad enough, you have to be hyper focused or you'll miss opportunities. I understand it. I'm not desperate, but I am desperate. I'm desperate to get off of my bicycle. I'm not desperate to buy a car. I'm desperate to get the hell off my bike. 3,000, I think 3,722.9 miles is enough for the year right now. And it's 325 hours on the bike. That's 13 and a half straight days, 24-hour days. I'm just over it. And I'm not like every time on Saturday that I get up to go to that bakery, it gets worse and worse and worse. My energy, my demeanor, my hygiene, everything. It's just my whole body is falling apart massively right now. And it's just a Lyft or Uber would be like, to go to the bakery, it'd be like $50 each way. I wouldn't even make $1. I may as well stay home. Angels asked, so with the little yellow car, it was a Mercedes SLK 230, 1998, had about 160,000 miles on it. The photos look great. Two reasons I'm not going to go look at it. 3 reasons. One reason, I called the dealership and they never called me back. You don't want to make a sale. You're not going to call somebody back when they leave a message. Strike 1. Strike number 2, it's 40 miles each way for me to go there. So that's a risk in and of itself for my energy, etc. And then 3, the thing that put the kibosh on it for me is it's an old car. So it looks like it's in great condition, but I already know what can be wrong with them. Probably the top, it's got a retractable hard top. That's probably got something wrong with it. They almost always do. And there might be a couple other things under the hood. But the Google reviews of this dealership were strange. They had tons and tons and tons of 5-star reviews. These guys are great. These guys are great. But they had a lot, and I mean a lot of 1-star reviews. And all of the 1-star reviews were the exact same thing. The dealer basically, I got the gist from all of these 1-star reviews is that they buy their junk cars at auction or whatever. They detail the shit out of them to make them look really nice. They plug in the scan tool, clear out all the codes so that when you're 3 hours out of the lot after you've bought the car is going to break down on the side of the road and all the lights are going to turn on the dashboard. And that was like, there were at least, I could count 50 or 60 reviews. They had hundreds of 5-star reviews, but the 5-star reviews didn't really say a lot other than they were good to work with. They helped me with my bad credit, things like that, but nothing about like some people did say that they bought a car and never had a problem with it. And yes, it probably does come down to what car did you buy. because not every car is a lemon. But there were dozens, if not over 100 one-star reviews that somebody bought a car, drove it off the lot, and the car broke down within 3 hours to 3 days, to the point where the car cost almost the cost of the car to fix. Massive problems. And so I'm like, looking at a 1998 Mercedes at a dealership with those horror stories one after the next, like, am I really just setting myself up for this car to break down halfway home and leave me stranded on the side of a road? So I don't want to go look at it. I'm like, if I'm going to get stranded, may as well be close to home. So like humble cars, there's, you got one of you guys, I don't know if I see the username here, but somebody sent me a couple of links to, one was a Corolla or something from a private seller here that he saw on Craigslist. And I clicked on that today and saw that that car's still listed. So, and it's here in, it's close by. I could go look at it tomorrow. Maybe I could go buy that tomorrow. It looked like it was in decent shape. It was, there's some other cars that I've bookmarked. There was a Jeep Cherokee that was, it looks pretty nice for its age, but the interior has got some messy things going on. The guy repainted the truck, lifted it, put nice wheels and tires on it, really nice headlights, did a lot of work to it. It looks like the outside of it looks really nice. It's got a snorkel intake going up the front. You could probably drive it through a river. It's pretty beefed up. But the interior looked like it was a bit of a mess. Like the interior looked like it. I don't want to drive a vehicle that's all beat to hell on the inside. As reliable as those things can be. So I was gonna go look at it, but I kind of just, I don't know. And there's a few others that I've reached out about, but I haven't gone to look at. So it, whatever. That Fiat is still for sale that I test drove at that dealership, but that they wouldn't haggle with me at all. And they were a bit shady. And it's still there. I could still do it. It was way faster than the Subaru that I test drove. But the airbag light was on. And it was in an accident. So, like, the accident was 30,000 miles ago. And it drove nice. I didn't see anything wrong with it in that respect. Just cosmetic stuff. But the airbag light, is that from the accident? Is that like, am I in like $2,000 to fix that? Or is it just a loose wire under the seat? Because though I guess I looked this up and it said that there's a connection under the seat that can get loose and you can reconnect it and the airbag light goes off. Or it could be some $2,000 situation where your airbags won't work in an accident. And I don't trust that. That dealer won't fix any of that. Like that dealership, if I said I'll buy the car as long as you fix the airbag light, all they're going to do is plug a scan tool in, clear the code, and hope that when I drive off the lot, the light stays off until I'm home. And then, bing, airbag light's back on. So, I wouldn't trust them to do an oil change on a car after. I wouldn't take a car there for an oil change after looking at the Subaru that they had for sale. I wouldn't have even paid $100 for that car. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Oops. Not yet. Stop. That's what I wanted. Okay. So anyway, like, So we're an hour into the stream. That's the story of the car. I'm still looking. Tomorrow's another day. You never know. Tomorrow I could go find a car, sign the paperwork, and be done with it and drive to work on Saturday. You never know. It could end up, I could end up like this, could end up being fixed things. Here's another comparison of what I just said. Yesterday, was it yes or no? It was Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday night? What the hell day was it? Wednesday night, I tried to change my driver's license. Yeah, it had to be Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I tried to change my driver's license address on the Texas website. By the time I went to bed, I was angry because it took 3 months to get my New York State driver's license changed into a Texas driver's license because the DMV here is so blatantly incompetent. And so I went to bed Wednesday night angry. I hate Texas. I hate living here, blah, blah, blah. All because I had it in my head that it was going to take 3 months to change the address on my driver's license. My best friend, it's his address that's on my license still. He was like, you can just put all your paperwork. You can use my address if you need to put the paperwork through if that's what it takes. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, just use my address. And I told him, I said, yeah, I'll do that if I have to, but I don't want to get all the paperwork done and then a couple of weeks later have to do all the paperwork again and change the address and pay all the fees and do all the stuff again. So I'm like, if I can do it without having to do it twice, I would rather do it that way. But I went to bed on Wednesday night angry because F Texas, can't believe they're so incompetent, blah, blah, blah. And then it was yesterday that I had the bright idea to send that email to their tech support. Said, oh, because I tried to do it again yesterday on that website and it failed again. We can't verify your information. I'm like, I made sure double, triple, quadruple checked that everything I entered into those fields was exactly correct. And just said, we can't verify your information. But then I saw that they had a tech support button. And I'm like, why not? Couldn't hurt. And so I went to bed yesterday thinking that that was going to be a hassle, even though I knew that I could just go to the tax office and get my paperwork done and deal with the driver's license issue completely separate. They're two separate things now. And then today, I get an email when I wake up from their tech support saying, why don't you try to put your first and middle name in that field where it says first name? That helps a lot of people. Oh, yeah, you mean the field that says first name and then people put their first name like it says to put, and then you wonder why you're getting 1,000 emails a day saying I can't log into this website. Well, you're supposed to put your first and middle name in that field, don't you know? So as of today, so this morning I got that email and all of a sudden, boom, I was able to create an account on the Texas website. Blink, it went right through, no problem. I'm like, yeah. And so then there's the button, change your address here. And I'm like, all right, dude, I got to walk away. I walked away. I went and did something else for an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I'm like, I'm not going to hit that damn button to change my address until I'm ready mentally for whatever goes wrong next. I just don't, I'm not in the right mood. So I will do that sometimes. I'll just put something off until I can deal with whatever bad thing might happen. And so I did that today. I'm like, I'll do something else. Wait until I'm in a good frame of mind. I'll turn around. I'll come back. Before I go to the bank today, I will try to get my address changed. And it went right through. No problem. So done. I can cross off. I can go to the DMV and cancel my appointment that I have because I no longer have to go there in person. So that changed overnight. 2 nights ago, I was angry at Texas for being so incompetent. And today, that problem's gone. The problem is solved. So maybe yesterday, buying a car, today, all the stuff that went through today, whatever, maybe somehow through a strange turn of events, like right now, if the guy was going to bring the car tomorrow, I won't be able to drive it till like next Wednesday. That would be my guess, because you have to make an appointment at the tax office. But when I looked, it looked like you would be able to do it within a day or two. My earliest day, if he dropped it off tomorrow, the earliest I would be able to go do that would be Tuesday. So I'd have to ride my bike to the bakery on Saturday, ride my bike again on Monday. Okay, fine. I've been doing it for months. Maybe tomorrow I will go to a dealership, or maybe I will go look at a car tomorrow and drive to work on Saturday. That could happen. So Angel asked me, have you tried Facebook? The Subaru that I just bought that turned out to not be, that was Facebook Marketplace. I've been using Facebook Marketplace, Auto Trader. I've looked at Craigslist too. I've only test driven 3 cars, but this day and age, you do all your car shopping online. At least that's how I do it now. If I go look at our car in person, then I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to do it right. Like if I actually get to the point where I go look at a car in person, then all I'm doing is looking for a reason not to buy it, because I've already made up my mind to buy it. But the going to look in person, I'm specifically looking for a reason to say no at that point, because I've already said yes. So I'm not the kind of guy I'm not going to go look at 25 different cars in person and waste all my time doing that, going on test drives and doing all. You can do a lot online. Just look at, compare, look, shop around. You can even, I haggled. When I bought my Wrangler, I did all the haggling online. 3 weeks. 3 weeks I haggled back and forth with this dealer in Cleveland. And he finally said, all right, come on up and do it. We'll do it. I wouldn't budge on my price. I said, I want this much in trade for my Liberty. I want this to be the purchase price of the Jeep. I don't care if you fudge the numbers around, but this is what I'm going to pay. The only thing that they caved in, but the only caveat was you're going to buy the vehicle as is. You're not going to get any kind of warranty at all. But the Jeep had 20,000 miles on it. What warranty did I need? And it worked out. I never had to fix it. The thing never broke down. It was reliable as hell. Couple of little things here and there. So the worst thing that ever happened to my Wrangler was I had a misfire in the engine and I had to drive it all the way home in limp mode. Like not driving more than 30 miles an hour on the back roads, hoping that my engine doesn't blow up. And when I took it to the shop, they called me back in 15 minutes. They said, we found out what's wrong. Squirrels ate your ignition coil wires. So some squirrels ate. I couldn't even see it when it happened, and we were camping. And when I went to leave, my vehicle was running really rough. And I'm like, we were stranded back in the woods. It would have been a 15-mile hike just to get a cell phone signal. So I was like, roll the dice. Let's see what happens. We're going to drive. If this thing breaks down, then it breaks down. We drove about 20 miles to civilization, parked in a parking lot. Couple of, and this was like a town where like old people will come up to you if they see you having a car trouble. Like, hey, what's going on? Let me see if I can help you. Like real friendly folk. None of us could figure out what it was. We're like, and it had me freaked out. And so I was expecting like, oh, my engine might be blown. I don't know. Like something's going on. It's not good, but I'm like, fuck it. Let's go home. But the check engine lights flashing the whole way home. I drove it to the mechanic. I didn't even have it towed. Mechanic was like, you shouldn't have done that. You could have flooded your engine, but you're fine. He's like, you didn't do any damage to it. He's like, we didn't even have to replace the they didn't have to replace the I don't know the word, the wire pack, like the packaging of wires that comes out of the thing that goes all over. They didn't have to replace the wiring harness. That's the key. That's the word. They just put a couple of shrink tubes. They spliced the wires back together, put a couple of shrink wraps on it. Boom, it was done. Taped it back up. You're good to go. They told me, they're like, yeah, if the squirrels do it again, you might have to replace your wiring harness. But they had it fixed. I dropped it off at the shop. I rode my bicycle home. When I got home, there was a message on my phone saying my Jeep is fixed. I had to turn right around and go back and get it, and they charged me like $75. And they're like, yeah, that's all it was. You could have fixed it at the campsite if you had seen what happened. You could have at least just put the wires together and, did one of these and, put a little electrical tape or whatever you had around. You probably would have been able to get home, no problem. We fixed it a little bit better for you, but they're like, if it happens again, you have to replace the wire harness, but everything was fine. They tested some stuff. They're like, yeah, you don't got nothing in your engine. You're good to go. Running smooth. And I never had a problem with that vehicle since. So I don't know. These things happen. The apartment search. I was telling you guys about that garage apartment that I found when I was looking for a new place to live. And that guy started jerking me around. And that was May 4th. Because I remember May the 4th be with you. It was, the Star Wars day. Excuse me. Anyway, Star Wars day. May the 4th be with you. I went and looked I thought that was going to be my new place. And then this guy's jerking me around and he's jerking me around and he's jerking me around. He told me to call him back next weekend. I called him back. He says, call me back on Thursday. I'll let you know. Call him on Thursday. Oh, you're going to have to give me until Sunday now. I've got more people coming to look at it. Sunday comes. I call him. He goes, oh, I've got some more people coming to look at it. I'm like, all right, we're done. 3 strikes. You're out. I crossed it off my list after that. The guy was just jerking me around. And so, anyway, I walked away from it. All right, so I meant to tell you guys this. So I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and so the chats between me and the listing, whenever a listing gets updated, that'll go to the top of your chat column. Like 2 weeks ago, he rented that place out. That garage apartment got rented. It finally listed as sold or rented 2 weeks ago. I went and looked at it on May 4th, and 2 weeks ago, he rented it out to somebody. So May, June, July, August, September. He let that thing sit for 4 months without anybody moving into it. I wonder, how many other people did this guy jerk around and do the same thing to that he did to me? Oh, I've got some more people coming to look at it next week. And oh, I've got 3 people coming on Saturday and a couple people on Sunday. Call me on Monday and I'll let you know. And then call him on Monday. Oh, I've got 2 more people coming tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, dude, get the fuck out of here. It took him 4 months to find his renter. I wonder if the slumlord got his shed rented. I don't know. You know what's funny, though? Yesterday on my way to go look at that car, Jared, you're new here. I bought a car yesterday. The guy was supposed to drop it off tomorrow. I have the cash. Like, the deal was done. Guy called me 4 minutes before I get on the live stream tonight to say that he sold it to someone else. But an hour before he called me, he sent me the inspections paperwork because he went and got it inspected for me because that was part of the deal we worked out. So at 4 o'clock, I'm like, okay, cool. He got it inspected. We're all good to go. And then all of a sudden, 4 minutes before I'm about to tell you guys I just bought a car, he's like, I sold it to someone else. Sorry, it's gone. Douchebag. Yeah. Neil says, I've had Craigslist and Facebook people sell or rent out from under me more than once. Yeah. And you know what? I'm sure I've done it. Maybe not a vehicle or anything on a grand scale, but I know one time I had an old Mac, an old G5 Mac tower, and the power supply died. I had just replaced something on the motherboard that was expensive. And it was an old computer, but I needed it because I needed to get some projects done, and it was cheaper to fix it than to get a new Mac. And I just needed it done. And then, like, I don't know, several months later, the power supply just goes, pew, and it died. And I could have gotten a new power supply and it had it. But at the time when it happened, none of my files were on it anymore. Like, when it died, it didn't matter. It didn't even really, like, I was already transitioning away from that computer. So I have this Mac, this G5 Mac tower. These things were huge. They weighed like 30 pounds, I swear. I put this thing on Craigslist. I forget what I listed it for. Cheap, dirt cheap. Within a month, I put it up on Craigslist dirt cheap. Within a day, I had 50 emails. People fighting and stepping over each other trying to come and get this Mac. And I'm like, yo, maybe I should have listed it for more. So I took the ad down like I sold it and just let it sit for a month. I let it sit for a month, just off to the side. The cheese grater. Yep. No, you know what I'm talking about. It was the cheese grater. In fact, I was even thinking about using the case for something, but I was thinking about some people have made coffee tables out of those and done some really cool stuff with those. But it was a functioning computer minus the power supply. But so many people wanted this thing so bad. And I didn't have I was selling it with no hard drive and a broken power supply, and people went crazy. So I left it alone for a month. I took different pictures of it so it wouldn't look like, people I don't know how much people pay attention, but I listed it for like way more money than what I originally put it up for. And within a day, I had 3 people, and I sold it that night. I sold it like within 24 hours for way more money than what I listed it for originally. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool. So I've done stuff like that. I'm not taking it. If I was selling a car and I was supposed to deliver it to someone tomorrow and I didn't have the cash yet and the deal wasn't final yet, even though it was, and somebody shows up at my house and says, I'll give you $800 more, I'm sure I would take the $800 and then save myself the hassle of having to deliver the car tomorrow. I mean, if I was in the guy's shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. So who am I to be, but it still sucks because from my perspective, yay, I get to ride my bicycle another 200 to 300 freaking miles, living like hell because I want a bed. I want to get a bed. I want to get some freaking curtains for that room. Things like that. There's things for my bicycles. There's things I want to do. and I have put everything on hold except for like the bare minimum groceries until I get a car, because I want to have all the money, and I'm desperately trying to get it done by the end of the month, because at the end of the month I'm going to have to pay rent and all these bills. It's going to eat into the money that I have. I will have more money by the end of the month, but it's just, I don't know. I'm strung out right now, and I'm kind of at the point where I might push really hard to just try and find something tomorrow. But maybe, I don't know, what was it, a Corolla? Here, I'm going to pull it up. Somebody, I think I bookmarked it. Yeah, here it is, right here. Somebody sent this last week, and it's still listed. It's definitely not as cool as the Subaru I just bought but didn't buy. But a Toyota Corolla for $4,300. Looks pretty clean. 167,000 miles. Looks pretty clean. Under the hood looks all right. If I zoom in, it don't look too bad. Basic, humble, just regular old car. Why not? Why not take a look at it? I see a ding on the rear quarter panel of the bumper. He backed into something. I can see that there. But, I mean, I'd buff out. That would probably buff out. What do we got on the front? I mean, you're going to see things that you don't see in the pictures, especially Craigslist pictures are very weak. Okay, yeah, we can see some blemishes on the front. Some little paint chips. Some little paint chips on the bumper and stuff. I mean, it's just a car. I mean, it's a car. Would this be better than that Subaru? I don't know. 4,300, I could probably get them down to 3,700. So here, let me get this guy's email address. Copy. I'll do it on my other screen while I talk to you guys. I'm going to send him an email right now. Why not? I can go look at it tomorrow. Okay. Give me a second here. Paste that in. I'm interested in looking at the Toyota Corolla that you have listed. I live in Spring and might be close to your location. Able to take a look at it as soon as tomorrow. I'll have cash in hand too. I'm not going to say that to him, but and then I'll just say, feel free to get in touch. If it's still available. And Grammarly, no, I'm going to leave it the way I wrote it. And done. So maybe by the time we're done with the live stream here, I'll get an email back from that guy. That was going to be the next. Yeah, that has a timing chain. Oh, shit. Did I? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Stop sharing. I thought I closed the stream for a second. All right. So, yeah, that has a timing chain, I believe, which would be a little better than a belt. But I had a Toyota Tercel. It was a mid-'80s. So it was kind of a funny story. All my problems in life come from the government screwing me over. pretty much every single time. If it weren't for this government, my life would be nice. I'm sure a lot of you could say the same thing. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I got pulled over for driving with a suspended license, but I got pulled over in Mount Lebanon, which is a corrupt neighborhood in Pittsburgh. If any of you are from Pittsburgh, you know. And they told me my license was suspended, but I had a New York driver's license. I had just moved to Pittsburgh. So I got like a statement from New York, like there's a thing that the DMV will print out, your entire driver record. My license was never suspended. I got a ticket for driving with a suspended license. My license wasn't suspended. When I showed up to court to defend myself, the cops pulled me over in front of the courthouse and stripped my car apart. Like, took the door panels off, completely stripped the car apart and left it in a pile in the middle of the road. And then they wouldn't let me go to my court hearing. And when I walked into the courthouse after I gathered up the parts to my car and put them all in the trunk and pulled into the parking lot with a shell of a car, and I walk into the courthouse angry, the judge looks at me and he starts laughing and he goes, "Well, since you didn't bother showing up, we found you guilty." The judge, now, so a long time, I ended up I had to lawyer up. I couldn't afford to lawyer up. So I paid the fine. It was $600. The judge was thrown off the bench for being drunk. He was an alcoholic. The newspaper said that he probably sent between 800 and 1,000 people to prison while he was too drunk to bang the fucking gavel on his bench. They threw him off the bench. They kicked him, like he got impeached or whatever. He was not a judge anymore. It was all over the news. That was the judge that did this to me. And a lawyer told me later on that they pulled this scam all the time on people. Like, and they were waiting for me to come to court that day to fight my ticket. They were waiting for me, and they pulled me over in front of the courthouse to keep me from going in there and contesting my ticket. So what happened was my next vehicle that I owned, so that vehicle that I was driving got rear-ended by a drunk driver with no insurance, and it was totaled. And I had to buy another vehicle. That vehicle got stolen. And so the insurance company, I went to go buy another vehicle. All of a sudden, the insurance company wanted $6,000 a year for my car insurance. What is $6,000 a year per month? Divided by 12. That's $500 a month for bare minimum coverage. They wanted $500 a month. Why? Because I am convicted of driving with a suspended license now. Lawyer told me it would be $6,000 to get it overturned. What do I do? And so I couldn't drive. I couldn't figure this out. I didn't know what to do. So I was going to church, and I was at this church for a long time. Somebody at the church knew what was going on with me, and she goes, "You know, we have a car ministry here. Why don't you talk to somebody? They can probably help you." And so there was a guy who's one of the lead pastors. He owns an auto garage. They have a carman. They give away, people donate cars to the church, and they find people to give them to. And he found out about me. He came to me. He goes, "Adam," he's like, "Do you drive a stick shift?" I'm like, "I prefer to drive a stick." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "come to my garage, like really, like right now." He's like, "I've got like 4 cars I can't even give away. I've got 4 vehicles sitting on this lot. They're all stick shift. I can't even give them to somebody. We've been trying to give them away for months, and we can't find anybody." He's like, "So whatever one you want, you can take. right now. He took me over to his garage and he had like 4 cars. They were all old, you know. One was this little Toyota Tercel. And the other cars looked nicer. And I just had, so what went through my mind when I'm like, which car do I pick? Which car do I pick? The picture in my mind was that scene in the Indiana Jones movie where he walks into the Holy Grail, the room with all the chalices, and they're like, so which one was it? Which one did Jesus drink out of? But if you pick the wrong one, you're going to melt, you're going to fall apart and die. And so the one person walks in and he gets the one with all the fancy jewels and it's made out of gold. It's like, you know, something like the Pope would drink out of. And he drinks the juice and he drinks the holy water or whatever. And then he just melts and dies right in front of Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones is looking around. He's like, that one, that clay one, that beat up old looking cup that, you know, somebody from the ghetto would drink their Kool-Aid out of or whatever. And that was the right one. So that was the scene going through my mind when I'm looking at the cars. I'm like, that one. Like, which one's the most humble of these 4 cars? They all look, you know, they all are what they are. But this little Toyota Tercel looks like, the other 3 look like the chalice with all the jewels on them and like the one that's going to make me melt. But this little Toyota, I'm like, that's probably the one I should get. And so I did it. And the car insurance was cheap. The car insurance, part of the reason why they were gouging me with car insurance is because I went a few months. If you go more than 3 months without car insurance, then the car insurance companies pretend that you've never driven a car before and you're high risk all of a sudden. And so what I had to do was get this Toyota Tercel, this 1984 Tercel, on the road. All I had to do was get it insured and fill out some paperwork. And it was pretty easy. And it was cheap. The insurance was like $100 a month. 6 months later, now I can get regular car insurance again at a normal car insurance price as if I didn't have that suspended license anymore. But I had to find a vehicle that I could afford the insurance on for 6 months. And then now that I'm in the club again of insured drivers, because that suspended license thing was on my record for 2 years and my car insurance never went up. It wasn't until a vehicle got stolen, and it took me a while to find another vehicle. And I didn't have insurance, obviously, because I didn't have a car. And when I went to go get insurance, they're like, oh, $6,000 a year. And I'm talking every single insurance company gave me the same quote, $6,000 a year. I shopped and I shopped. I spent 2 weeks trying to find car insurance. And then I said, I can't get a car because I'm going to be getting a car payment of $400 a month. And the car insurance, they're going to want $600 a month. That's $1,000 a month to drive a car. My rent wasn't even that much. So somebody gave me a Tercel at church, a stick shift Toyota Tercel. That thing couldn't even go 80 miles an hour. Gave it to me. He said he couldn't give it. He said I was doing him a favor. He had 4 stick shifts that he couldn't get rid of. He tried. He couldn't find some. Nobody knows how to drive a stick anymore. He's like, you're doing me a favor. 6 months later, my insurance issues were a thing of the past, and I could get car insurance again. I kept that Toyota Tercel for 1.5 years, and then I went and got a car, and I had no problem with the insurance. I just switched the vehicle on the policy I already had, added full coverage. Price hardly went up. So my problems were gone, and I never had that issue again. And then I gave the Toyota to a good friend of mine. He had just something happened to him. I can't remember what. All of a sudden he needed a car and desperately needed a car. I gave him it. I'm like, here, have this Toyota. It saved my ass for 1.5 years. I'm like, it still runs. I've changed the oil and I put new tires on it. That's all I ever had to do in 1.5 years. This car is a bomb-proof car. It's not the greatest car, but it'll get you around town. It'll get you to work, and you won't ever have to worry about it. He owned it for a year and a half, and then he traded it in for some other thing because it started leaking oil. And the thing that he traded it in for was less reliable than it. And then so that worked out. And yeah, I've had a lot of, but anyway, the Toyota, that old Toyota was probably one of the most reliable cars I ever owned. The thing had the thing may have had 200,000 miles on it when I got it, maybe 170. I don't know. It had a lot. It was like 2004 when I got it, or I don't remember, but it somewhere around there maybe. Sounds about right. I'll say it was around 2004-ish when I got it. So it was 20 years old when I got it. It was fine. I drove it for a year and a half. I had to put tires on it. I think the tires that were on it were retreads or something. They were bad tires to begin with. I was having all kinds of weird issues with the car kind of bouncing around, and so I felt like something was wrong with the suspension. Was the tires were bad. The tread came off the tire one day, and that car was so cheap that set of 4 tires. Now, granted, this was like 2004. A set of 2005. A set of 4 tires for that car was $100. They're like little wagon wheels. They're like the cheapest tires you could buy. That fixed all the problems I thought were with the suspension. It was bad tires. Drove it to Washington, D.C. that night. Like I had to go. I went out to lunch. Here's another way the good Lord will work in mysterious ways. I had to go to Washington, D.C. after work. It was Friday afternoon. I went out to lunch. I had to leave at 5 o'clock to go to D.C. From Pittsburgh, it's a 4-hour drive. I went out to lunch. All of a sudden, my car just starts bop, 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 and I could hear something going on. The tread on my rear passenger wheel like peeled off like a tractor trailer tire. Like the tread came right off the tire, flopped around inside the wheel well, and ended up on the side of the road. And so I'm driving around town on the steel belts, no rubber. But it was holding air. So I'm like, crap. I knew there was a tire shop right down the street from where I worked. I drove to the tire shop and I pulled in and I'm like, this just happened. What do you got? They're like, oh, we can get you 4 new tires. We could do it right now. $120. I'm like, get out of here. Okay. We're done. And so I said, they told me it was going to take an hour or 2. I said, I work right down the street. Just call me when it's done. I'll come and get it. Went back to work, walked. They called me, told me to come get the car, went and got the car, walked, drove it back to my office, worked for another hour or 2, got back in the car, drove to Washington, D.C. like I never skipped a beat. If that tire had not done what it did during my lunch ride that day, that would have left me stranded on the side of the road somewhere between Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C., possibly out in the middle of nowhere, because there's a lot of like emptiness between those 2 cities when you're in the mountains. It's very desolate in some spots. I was like, this God's car. We always called it, that was the name of that car. We called it God's car. I mean, it was like, let's get in God's car. Let's take God's car, whatever. That was God's car. So I'm like, God knew I had to go on that trip. So he's like, you need new tires. And then I'm like, all the way to DC, I'm like, this whole time I've been driving this car, 6 months, whatever it was, thinking that the suspension's all messed up. All it was a bad tire going fa-flump, fa-flump, fa-flump as I drive around. So keep that in mind, man. You'd be surprised how a couple of bad tires will destroy the ride of your vehicle to make you think that something really bad is wrong and all you needed was a new tire. So that was cool. And so I'm just looking at this like, all right, maybe the Subaru wasn't the one that, and I'll just start again tomorrow. And, if a dealership pops up, if I could probably get up early and make a couple phone calls and go look at a car tomorrow. I could still go buy that Fiat that I test drove the other day. Get it done. I could be driving it to work on Saturday. I'd have to go get some extra cash out. That would suck because that would be a lot of miles on the bike to have to do all of that. But I wouldn't have to ride the bike home. And it would be like, I could do it tomorrow. I'm trying not to fixate on that one car. But like, let's change the subject for a minute since, it's a 2-hour video about car shopping. We're talking about, we've all been paying attention to the news. I don't gotta, we all know what's going on. And so I'm sitting here from a unique perspective watching this happen, what's going on right now. And, now the Republicans are on their comeback tour, and now the Democrats are losing their jobs. And so, where was the, I didn't even no, I know I did. Give me a second here. I know I bookmarked this. I think I did. There was a meme or a Twitter post that pretty much summed it all up. And I'm pretty sure I bookmarked it, but no. There we are. Yeah, it said, I'm scared that we might be setting a dangerous precedent here. If we're not careful, the Democrats might end up banning all of us conservatives from social media, trying to get us fired from our jobs and using the FBI to systematically target conservatives across the country in retaliation for what we're doing to them now. And I'm like, doesn't that sum it up? Do I care that a bunch of Democrats are getting fired right now for running their mouth on social media? I can't say that I do. I really can't. For those of you who don't know, I was fired from my job, lost my career more or less because I wouldn't take the vaccine. Right before Christmas, I wouldn't take the shot. And so I lost my job. All you Democrats were fine with that. You had no problem kicking me out of my career. And then I was thrown in federal prison for social media posts. And then when I was released from prison, I was more or less forced to be homeless for 5 months by the Department of Probation because they wouldn't let me move somewhere where I had a place to live. And so they let me be homeless for 5 months after getting released from prison, all because of posts on social media. Imagine that. And now, a year and some change after I wasn't homeless anymore, I'm relying on a bicycle to ride 50 miles combined to and from a $10 an hour job just to barely survive when I used to make well over 6 figures. And so do I really feel bad that a bunch of scumbag Democrats ran their mouth on social media last week and lost their jobs? I can't really say I do. I mean, if I'm being honest, I hope they all end up homeless, living under a bridge, sucking dick for crack rocks. I mean, that's just me. But the problem is the right wing now is in charge of cancel culture. And so all you Democrats that thought it was a good idea to shut people's businesses down and destroy them, You don't want to bake a gay wedding cake. You're going to get sued. You're going to get put out of business. You don't want to close your business when the government says that, where everybody's supposed to stay home and keep their business closed. You don't want to go out of business and be bankrupt, so you keep your business open. We're going to shut you down. We can't, they came after people and destroyed their lives. You don't want to wear a mask, a stupid mask on your face. You don't want to take a shot. You voted for the wrong candidate and you're getting canceled and kicked off of social media just for having conservative views. Democrats were fine with that. Every time the Democrats didn't get their way, what did they do? They went and burned down a city, burned down Minneapolis, burned down Portland, take over the streets of Seattle and block everybody and turn it into a homeless camp. And they burned down the police station. They get mad in Washington, D.C. They go and topple all the monuments and just throw temper tantrums every time these assholes don't get their way. And now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. And, oh, boo fucking who? Well, fuck you, Jimmy Kimmel. Good luck. I hope you got your dick sucking lips ready for when you're living under the bridge. But, a lot of these rich ones that are losing their job, they're not going to. Jimmy Kimmel's not going to be homeless. Jimmy Kimmel's not going to be poor. He's got plenty of money in the bank. He'll get a new job doing something. So, but the right wing is now in charge of cancel culture, and they're just you're about to see the Democrats get steamrolled because they were doing this to us for 6 years straight. And now the Republicans latched on to this one thing and they see it as an opportunity. Boom, we're coming back at you full force with the full vengeance that we can possibly. There's a freaking website now where hundreds of thousands of Republicans are taking screenshots of every single post on social media that they can find where somebody said some screwed up thing about Charlie Kirk. And they're putting it on this website. Here's this person. Here's where they work. Here's their name. Here's their phone number. We need to call that school. We need to call that business. We need to get them fired. And they've got hundreds of thousands of people working the streets now to get all of these people fired just for making social media posts. They're trying to destroy these people's lives. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, these people whose lives are being destroyed now, they were the ones that tried to destroy my life. So whatever, I don't care. I'm fine with it. But I'm not going to participate in the doxing of it all. I'm not going to go I'm not joining the team. I got better things to do in life than to sit here all day taking screenshots of everybody who said something dumb on social media to try and dox them and make them lose their job. A week before that guy at the baseball game who took the baseball away from the little kid, and the outraged people were trying to get her fired from her job for taking a baseball at a baseball game. So, but here's the thing. Now that the right wing's in charge, they're going to retaliate tenfold every possible chance that they get to destroy everybody that they possibly can on the other side in retaliation for what's been done to the conservatives when the Democrats were in charge. And the Democrats just walked right into that one. And fine, rightfully so, fine. It's just going to keep going back and forth. But Donald Trump isn't doing anything about election fraud. Has anybody been arrested for tampering with the 2020 election yet? No. The next time the Democrats steal an election and get in charge again, they're just going to turn around and retaliate back at you for what you're doing right now. And it's just never going to end. It's just going to be this back and forth war. We're in a war. We're in a civil war right now in this country, whether it's people lining up and shooting each other, bang, bang, like they did in the 1800s. Just because there isn't a direct battlefield doesn't mean we've been in a civil war since 2020. And I don't know how bad it's going to get, but to say that we're not in one, you'd be naive. But it's just going to be endless retaliation. Yeah, I mean, so Blue Sky says it's a biblical battle many of us are in the middle of. Yeah. This is the end stage of the Republic, JS says. Blue Sky says, it is why I think Look Out for Charlie is getting it correct. He says, from the Bolshevik Revolution, where both sides are in the mix of implosion of an entire country. They're manipulating the people who own America, and they own it. Don't make any mistake about it. The CEO of the company you work for makes 100,000 times more than you make. They own this place. BlackRock owns every company in America. And now they're buying up all the homes and then renting them back to you. These people are going to put both sides against each other. They're running both sides of the war. You just got to watch. If you're into Star Wars, Emperor Palpatine started the Galactic War. He created an army, had it attack the Republic. Then he created another army and had that army attack them. He was the leader of both armies. And the whole thing was to put him in a position of power where he consolidates all the power to himself, and then he uses those armies to destroy the Jedi because he couldn't do it himself. Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and his apprentice, two Sith Lords, cannot take on the entire Jedi, whatever it's called, all the Jedi in the galaxy. Two Sith Lords can't take them all on, no matter how powerful they are. So that's why Emperor Palpatine orchestrated this whole war just to destroy the Jedi. So you can almost look at it in terms of they're creating a war. They're going to get America fighting with each other, but the people who own this country are running both sides while they sit and just orchestrate the thing. And they're doing it to keep us divided while they take more stuff. They say we're going to own nothing and be happy and we'll all be eating bugs. And Thomas Jefferson said, I could look up the exact quote. Screw it. Why not? We're here. We've got time. I'll find it. Come on. No. Here it is. Thomas Jefferson said, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and the corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent that their forefathers conquered. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. And you're watching it right now. It's what you're watching right now. We will all be homeless, surrounded by a bunch of empty houses that are owned by BlackRock and the banks. Letting them get away with it. And why are we letting them get away with it? Because they got Democrats fighting with Republicans about stupid shit while they sit at the top and gobble up everything and take it away from us. And JS says every president that tried to interfere with a central bank got attacked or assassinated. And that's true. Every single one. It's why I'm like, I try to hold out hope that Donald Trump is a good guy, because why did they try to kill him? Is he going to dismantle the central bank and give power back to the people? I don't know. I don't have high hopes. I really don't. I'm watching a show on Netflix that I was suggested to watch about the mafia and how the FBI brought down the mob in New York. And it's called Fear City. And the lesson from it is, how do I put it? Because I haven't even finished watching the show, but it's pretty good. It's not awesome, but it's not bad. In order to take down the people at the top, in order to take the criminals down at the top, you can't just go directly at them because they're insulated. And so the way that they had to do it, they had to work from the bottom up. We know this. They had to go after the low-level informers. It's the same way they bring down drug cartels and everything else. You got to start at the bottom, turn people into informants. You've got to get warrants so that you can legally bug and monitor people and catch them in the act and build a case against them. So, I have some sort of, I'm hoping that the Jeffrey Epstein clientele, I'm hoping that their days are numbered and that they will get justice for raping kids on Epstein Island. Do I think that will happen? No, I think we're fucked. I think America's done. I have no hope for this country at all. I'm just in it to survive at this point. All I care about right now is go get a car. Let the country burn. That Subaru would have been a nice getaway mobile for when the shit hits the fan and you got to drive out to the wilderness and try to survive a little longer. That Subaru would have gone across some creeks and stuff, but I don't know about a Toyota Corolla. But it's better than being on a bicycle unless the roads are clogged, at which point then, yeah, it's better to be on a bicycle. Definitely one way to make a Toyota Corolla a cooler vehicle is to put a bike rack on top and have my bikes have it kind of outfitted as this is my bicycle carrier. As soon as you put a bike rack on top of a regular car, in my opinion, it makes the car look cooler. But I showed you, I already emailed that guy. Hopefully maybe I'll get a response while we're on the stream tonight. Not really carrying high hopes about that, but yeah, wow, I'm looking at the stream of text here that you guys are leaving. Yeah, the Angel says that's why doctors refuse to do holistic medicine. The overlords won't have it. How many doctors lost their jobs for saying COVID was a scam? How many doctors lost their job for, saying maybe you shouldn't take the jab? They lose their jobs for anything. If a doctor were to tell you drink more orange juice, they would lose their job because orange juice is not considered by the FDA to be a drug, and therefore you cannot say that orange juice will cure disease and make you healthy. It's like everybody knows, eat fruit, drink orange juice. Don't, substitute orange juice for Dr. Pepper and you might live a healthier life. I think we will all agree that makes sense. But if a doctor can't tell you that, they'll lose their job for saying that. Eat healthy. Get him out. Get him out. Take his medical license. He told people to eat healthy, drink juice, and get exercise when he should have been telling them get surgery, take a pill, eat McDonald's. I remember that quote, the Thomas Jefferson quote. Every president. Yeah, we just talked about that. Angels in her midst says, yep, he's making a mess of things, in my opinion. I'm assuming you mean Trump. Donald changed for some reason. Someone got to him. He didn't change. He was president for 4 years and didn't do shit. Talked about doing a lot of stuff, but did nothing. He talks, and he makes little hand signals and gestures like he's playing the accordion when he talks. And this big, beautiful this and crooked Hillary, and he makes a bunch of brand names, and he talks about stuff. He talks and talks. He's talked about, we're going to get those people that raped those kids on Epstein Island. We're going to go after them. Those people are going to be in trouble and blah, blah, blah. And he just talks. All that dude, crooked Hillary, didn't he say during the debate, he told her straight to her face, you'd be in jail if I were president. You were president for 4 fucking years and she's not in jail. She never even got investigated. You didn't do nothing. You did nothing to go after her. You didn't investigate her. You didn't do nothing. You just sat there talking about all the stuff that you should do and do nothing. He talks, and he doesn't do. He does nothing except talk. He doesn't back up anything he says with what he's doing. Yeah, we're building a big, beautiful wall, and we deported some immigrants. Even the Democrat presidents have deported a lot of. Bill Clinton deported a lot of immigrants. Obama did it too. You just don't hear the Democrats talking about it. I think he got threatened, or the 2 attempts spooked him. Probably. There is a video of that assassination attempt. I'm going to try and set up StreamYard, because if I set up StreamYard for these live streams, I can pull up videos and play them for you guys, and you should be able to hear the audio and stuff to go with it. But we'll talk about this again. There's a video. You can look this up, though. You probably find it on YouTube or Rumble. There's a video of when Trump got shot. Someone back in the crowd with a cell phone video. You see someone from the Secret Service go run off to the side of the stage as Trump is down on the ground. And they bring all these photographers, like 6 or 7 photographers, right up to the front of the stage. And they're all and they get all positioned, and they all get their cameras out, and they're all ready to take the photos when Donald Trump gets back up. And then in the background, you see the flag drop down in the video. And people are saying it's because the crane got hit by one of the bullets and the hydraulic line went. And so the flag dropped down because of that. Whatever. It looks, if you look at that video, that perspective, it looks like the whole thing was staged. It's strange. If he got shot at, why are the Secret Service going over to grab a bunch of photographers and bring them to the front of the stage and get them all into position so that they're standing right there when Donald Trump gets up and starts saying, fight, fight, fight? Ever since I've seen that video, I'm like, man, that doesn't settle with me. Like that's something about that doesn't look right. Not the flag dropping. Fine, maybe the hydraulic thing did get shot. Maybe that explains it. There could be other explanations for that. But the fact that all these photographers were ushered by security to get to the front of the stage and were all set up and positioned and all put in place. And then Donald Trump stands up and pumps his fist in the air. And I'm like, if you saw the video, you'd say the same thing if you have any common sense, which most of you do. It's weird, man. It's weird. The whole thing is weird. And, he walked around with a Band-Aid on his ear for a few weeks, and then, you wouldn't even know he got shot in the ear. There's nothing wrong with his ear, and he's rich. He can probably afford a plastic surgeon to come make him a new ear. So I'm not I'm not saying one way or the other. All I'm saying is I see things, and I'm like, that don't make any sense. There's stuff with this Charlie Kirk thing that don't make any sense. It seems like a hit. It seems like when Kash Patel, if you know anything about the numerology and the little Illuminati secret symbols that they use to talk to everybody, Kash Patel gets on the news conference that one night, and he was like, we found him. It took us 33 hours to find him. And he made sure to say, it took us 33 hours to arrest the suspect. Really, 33. Exactly 33 hours, you say. It didn't, not 32, not 24, not 73, not 52. 33 hours exactly. It took us 33 hours to, here we go. How do I get this? There you go. 33 hours to catch the suspect. We got him in just 33 hours. And if you know anything about how these clowns operate, that's their bat signal. That's them telling you, anybody who's awake and understands what this all means, that's all you really needed to hear to be like, oh yeah, this whole thing's a setup. Patsy. They're probably going to kill that kid before he ever goes to court. Suicide. Who knows? He's a Jack. He's there's going to be a Jack Ruby somewhere, or a suicide, or that kid's never going to speak. The kid's never going to. I saw the arraignment. The dad turned the kid in, or he turned himself in, or dad talked him into turning himself in, or whatever. The dad's getting reward money, like $100,000 from the FBI for turning in his own kid. Like, the whole thing is just fucking weird, man. There's some analysis, there's some video, there's a lot of different theories going around about what happened there. Look at this video. Somebody did a little hand signal, this and that. You know, there's like at least 6 videos where someone's like, look, he pointed that he's the real shooter. I've seen it all. I don't know what to think about any of it. Nothing like stands right out and tells me. There's another video where there's like a guy in the crowd standing by the fence, and it almost looks like he has one of these palm pistols. And I'm like, but he's shooting from like here. And I'm like, to hit somebody in the neck, even from that far, that accurate of a shot with a palm-held spy pistol, like holding it at chest height without even aiming it, you'd have to be damn good at your job to pull that one off. How do you get a gun up there under his pants? I don't know. I mean, in that situation, I feel like at a college campus, it's just some guy, some internet podcast guy doing a speech. It's not like Donald Trump is showing up to give a speech. You know, like how tight is security going to be at the college campus? I mean, I don't know. I go to sporting events. If I can sneak in a bottle of booze to get into the hockey game without any problem, I could sneak in a gun. In fact, I mean, I had my carry conceal permit back then, and I'm not going to lie, I've been strapped at sporting events in professional stadiums. Can walk right in. If you get caught, if in Pennsylvania, if I got caught, you know what would happen? They would tell me I have to go take it out to my car and leave it there. Like, and then I would probably miss some of the game. And if I refuse to leave, they could tell me to leave. And if I come back, then they'll charge me with trespassing. But I can't get arrested for carrying a gun because you're allowed to with a permit. So it would be considered like a private property owner doesn't want you to have a gun on their property. Therefore, you have to leave. And if you refuse to leave, we can charge you with trespassing. But that's the worst that would happen. So I've walked right through the security gates at pretty tight security places with a freaking gun on my ankle. No problem. No problem at all. Done it many times. And I'm like, well, if some nut job is going to start shooting up the stadium, at least there's going to be some of us that can shoot back. I can't do that now, obviously, but back in the day, Pennsylvania is there's way more gun toters in Pennsylvania than Texas. Texas has got this reputation about being this gun state where everybody carries a gun and it's a gun culture. And yes, there's some of that here, but your laws in Texas when it comes to guns are shit compared to Pennsylvania and West Virginia and other free states. I wouldn't even call Pennsylvania a free state, but when it comes to guns, the laws are a lot more relaxed than Texas. And I think and per capita, there's more people packing in Pennsylvania than Texas. It's just not out in the open. It's just not famous for that, which makes it even better because, you walk into if there's 100 people in the room, I guarantee you in Pennsylvania, if you're in a room of 100 people, there's at least 12 people with a gun. For sure. and you'll get to know each other if you spend enough time. I worked at a company once. I'm not going to say names. And I'm sure it was against company policy to have a gun, but nobody's searching me when I go to work. So in this building, this nut job shows up this one day. And he takes the elevator to the top floor of the building. And in his backpack, he has a hatchet, a freaking axe, cutting, for cutting wood. And he starts going down floor by floor by floor by floor in the building, jiggling the doors to the offices on each floor until he found a floor where he could just open the door and walk into an office. And then he ran around the office chasing people around with a fucking hatchet. And then the police came and put him down. They didn't kill him, but they got him. Well, he had worked his way down past our floor. So that means he came up to the door of my office and jiggled the door. And little did this guy know that was his lucky day that door was locked, because the guy who sat right next to the door was packing. I was 2 desks away from him. I'm packing. There's another guy 3 or 4 desks away from me. He's strapped. And there's probably 2 other people in that office. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to tell you the company. They were all strapped. That guy would have had so many holes in his fucking sweater, he would have looked like Swiss cheese. If he had pulled a hatchet out and started running around our office, done. Game over. That would have lasted about 5 seconds. He would have had about half a second to 2 seconds to put the hatchet down and wait for the cops to arrive, or he wasn't going to be waiting for the cops to arrive. They were just going to come and clean up the mess. And that's Pennsylvania. I don't know about Texas. I don't know if Texas is the same, but Pennsylvania, it's a sleeper. You don't know it. It's not out. I mean, you can open carry in Pennsylvania with no problem at all. You're allowed to. In Texas, they passed a law a couple of years ago. Up until then, you couldn't open carry. It was illegal to have your gun visible, even if you have a permit in Texas, until a couple of years ago. Pennsylvania, it was always legal. You don't need a permit to openly carry a gun. You only need a permit if you want to hide it. And out of the 12 million people in Pennsylvania, that the entire population of the state is like 12 million people, and 1.2 million people have a carry conceal permit. It's 10%. 10% of the population has the permit to carry. And that's the people that carry legally. That's 1 out of 10. So in a room of 100 people, you got 10 people walking around with a gun, maybe more. Pretty much anywhere you go. If you're in a restaurant, there's 100 people, guaranteed. Don't start shooting up the restaurant, because there's going to be 10 people shooting back at you. So yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk some more. How'd he get that gun up there? My question, how'd he get that gun up there? How does Donald Trump show up to Butler County Fair to give a speech, the only speech of the campaign that CNN decides to cover live and do a live feed of, and a kid climbs up onto a roof 100 yards away from the president, because he's still, according to the Secret Service, he's still a president. They let a kid climb up on a roof 100 yards away with a rifle and let him set up and let him pop off shots. They don't do that. I have gone to see the president speak more than once. I've been at the inauguration in DC. I've been to see George Bush speak in Pittsburgh. I've been around. I've done some things. You don't get 100 yards from a president with a rifle. You don't. You don't get 100 yards away from the president with a pistol. You don't get 100 yards away from the president with a freaking pocket knife on your keychain. They won't let you in. There's going to be a Secret Service. There's going to be at least 3 checkpoints that you got to go through and get searched by the Secret Service and security before you can even before you can get 100 yards away from a president. So how does a kid get past 3 layers of security with a rifle, climb up on a roof? When the president speaks, every rooftop is covered. Every window within 1 mile of where the president is standing, they're not even allowed to open a window. If you are in a building and you open a window when the president's speaking, the Secret Service will be in that room within less than a minute to take you out or to figure out why the hell did you open that window. And that's if you're a mile away. Every single rooftop will have snipers. Every single rooftop will have somebody covering it. There will be security on the roof, except for the roof that's 100 yards away from the president. And then they're saying, oh, that rooftop was too steep. It was flat. Like we all know that was between the fact that they let a kid climb up on a roof 100 yards away from the president. People in the crowd were screaming that there's a guy with a gun on the roof. There's a guy with a gun for half an hour before the kid took a shot. The cops just stood there. The Secret Service didn't do anything. They just stood there and didn't do nothing. Like all those cops, Pennsylvania State Troopers, Butler Police, Secret Service, FBI, all of those people were in on it. So you think that you can, that's why when like Republicans are talking about how the heroes in blue and the thin blue line and cops are heroes and all that shit, all those cops, every single one of them at Butler, the day Trump got shot at, every single one of those cops were in on that. Every single one of them. How do you trust them to protect and serve? They're not heroes. They're scumbags. They sat there and let a kid shoot at Donald Trump, if that's what really happened. They let a kid climb up on a roof with a fucking rifle 100 yards away from the president and let him take shots and actually killed people. And then they took him out. The snipers that took him out had a direct view of him. Why didn't they take him out before he took shots? They were looking right at him. The snipers that were behind Trump, looking right at that kid on the roof. And they waited until he took all those shots, and then they put him out. Like, they're all scumbags. These are the crooks that run our country. So you can't believe a word they say. You can't believe a word. I don't believe anything they say about Charlie Kirk. I don't believe anything they say about Trump. I don't believe Trump. I don't believe any of them. I don't believe any of them. Every single thing that I have, every single problem I have ever had in my life has come from the government. Every single time. So many I can't list. My lawyer, when I was arrested, she was like, "Why are you so mad at the government?" I had a little pencil. When you're in jail, you get a golf pencil. Same fucking pencil that you use at the golf course. Little tiny pencils like you're at putt-putt golf. And you get paper with no lines on it. I said, "Fine. Where do you want? I got nothing but time on my hands. Why do I hate the government so much?" I handed her a stack of 60 sheets of paper. 60. Front and back. Written with a fucking it was a lot of golf pencils. I'm trying to get those from her because she scanned them. So I'm going to actually, that's part of the reason why I haven't, talked about some of the stuff in detail, because I hand wrote stuff on paper, and I'm giving my lawyer 60 sheets of paper at a time when she's asking me for different things. And the one thing that she asked, she's like, "Can you just tell me why you hate the government so much?" Here's 60 fucking pages, front and back, written with a golf pencil of everything that these scumbags ever did to me. There you go. Does that explain it at all? Does that explain it at all? Why somebody might not be too happy with our federal government? I got 60 pages I could read to you guys. Boom, 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 boom. So much stuff. If it weren't for the douchebags that run our government, my life would be a hell of a lot better. So would yours. All of ours would be. And I don't think it's any better in any other country. I'm not saying that. I just think we're all screwed. The Bible says we're all screwed. So we don't get to enjoy any of this while we're here. We're waiting for our next destination. We're just in the back of a school bus on the way to some crappy field trip. And the fun doesn't begin until we arrive. But right now we're not. There's no hope for this country. I have none. So I'm living my life. I'm just trying to get my life back. I did get to talk to my kids last weekend for an extended period. My son is very quiet. So if I call him, it's like I'm doing all the talking. And it's like, yup, yeah, cool, yeah, which is actually that's way more of a response than I used to get out of the kid. I'd take me and my son would go on a 10-day road trip, camping and living out of our truck and sitting side by side for 10 straight days. I'd be lucky to get him to speak one sentence in 10 days. I'd be lucky. My daughter, on the other hand, she's the opposite of him. She doesn't stop talking. She's they're both really smart kids. They both have a lot in common, but personality wise, one's extremely quiet. The other one's extremely outgoing and talkative. I don't know why. It's just, it's how kids are different. So I called my daughter and talked to her for a long time on Sunday last week. And I'm going to make that a regular thing. I think I'm just going to take time out of every Sunday to talk to my kids and not let too much time go. That will help me feel better about everything that's going on. I'll get things in my head. And I don't want to get into the details, but sometimes it's hard for me to call my kids because of how good things used to be and how they are now. It kills me. And how they must feel about all of this. And so sometimes it's just hard to do that. And but I'm just going to make a better effort, because there was a period of time where I was going through so much stuff with that, living in that tool shed with the slumlord and no hot water and all that stuff. I wasn't being a good father by just, keeping in touch as much as I should have. And that started to grind on me really hard over the last couple of months. And so I'm nothing I can do about what's been done. All I can do is try to be better and just make sure they know that I'm here and I care, and I'm doing the best I can to try and get things fixed. My daughter, she's almost 30 years old. She's got a career. She's doing well. So that's not. My son is 16. This is different. So I've seen my son one fucking time since he was 12 years old. Because he was 12 years. He was about, but it was less than a month from his 13th birthday when I was arrested that night. He was at my house. He pretty much, he spent a lot of time at my house. It wasn't like a weekend dad. He would come spend months at my house. And he would it was we left it up to him. His mom and I got along just fine. We left it up to him. Do you want to go? You want to go to your dad's? You want to go to your mom's? Whatever. He decided where he wanted to spend his time between the two of us. And so he balanced it out. He would go to his mom's house for a while, and then he'd come to mine, and, depending on what's going on and whatnot. But there was no custody fights or anything like that with him. And so I went from basically spending months at a time with my son to seeing him one time from the time he was, I missed his 13th birthday, his 14th birthday, and the one time I've seen him since I was arrested was his 15th birthday, and now I've missed his 16th birthday. And it's killing me. Like, that really fucking sucks. To just completely miss out on your child's, like, it's like I don't even recognize my own kid anymore. My daughter was already an adult, she was already 26, 27 when this happened. So she's already out on, she's already an adult with her own life. But so I think it hit him a lot harder. And it's definitely this has taken a lot more away from him than her. And I don't know, but just, so once again, if I circle back to, do I feel bad that some Democrats lost their job because they got doxxed and because there's an army of Republicans just chomping at the bit to destroy their lives? No, don't care. But if I'm talking about the Republicans so you got all these Republicans taking the high and mighty road, that they do nothing wrong, that they're the righteous, running around trying to get every single person who cheered, laughed, left a nasty comment on Facebook, trying to get all these people fired from their jobs. These Republicans that are all high and mighty, they'd be doing the exact same shit if that were Nancy Pelosi or some other Democrat sitting in that chair with a hole in their neck with a fountain of blood coming out. How do I know? How many times do you go on X and you see a video of Joe Biden falling down a flight of stairs and all the Republicans are like, ha, 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 ha. I laughed my ass off every time I saw Joe Biden fall down a flight of stairs. I see Nancy Pelosi pass out on the Congress floor, or some other old 150-year-old congressman or woman passing out. I'm like, is he dead? Is he gone? They go, oh, damn it, he got back up again. Like, Republicans are no better. They're no better. They're no better. If Nancy Pelosi dropped on the House floor, because she's like 175 years old, they'd be cheering and laughing about it, reposting the video all day on X. Don't tell me they won't, because I've already seen them do it. So, like, I'm just being real right now. I'm being real. If that was Hillary Clinton sitting in the chair and a big hole opened up in her neck, blip, 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 and she's dead, Cat Turd and the gang on X they're acting all high and mighty right now, but if that were Hillary Clinton bleeding out, Cat Turd would be driving around in his giant pickup truck doing donuts in the mud, hooting and hollering, shooting his 12 gauge in the air and screaming and yelling, dancing around in his cowboy boots and his 10-gallon cowboy hat within 5 minutes of that video showing up online. Yeah! And they'd love it. Republicans would be loving that. Passing it around all over social media, laughing, good riddance, fuck that motherfucker, blah, blah. They'd be doing the exact same shit that the Democrats are doing right now. If that was Joe Biden, if you saw Joe Biden fall down a flight of stairs, Joe Biden falls off his bicycle, everybody's like, what an old, crippled old piece of shit he is, ha, ha, ha. Well, so, I mean, come on. I saw this YouTube video and I took some notes, but I don't even know if I watched the whole video. Angel says, I don't understand how Cat Turd got so big. I don't think he's funny at all. I don't either. Yes and no. I used to think that it was absurd that this guy was so outrageously popular on social media And it's like they pick and choose who becomes popular and who doesn't. I mean, look at my channel on YouTube. I got 1,000 subscribers in 60 days, which normally takes 15 months to do, according to YouTube's own stats. And then they locked my account. I have not gained not one subscriber. It's been 15 months and I have not gained one new subscriber, not one. And there's a bunch of other people on this platform, Rumble, other platforms that say the same things I'm talking about, and their channels grow. Somehow I saw it in the stats. The first time I put up a video where I talked about COVID being a scam, the video had a warning under it that YouTube put there saying I was full of shit, I'm dangerous, COVID's not a scam, take your vaccine, blah, blah, blah. And the number of impressions that I was getting on that video or on my videos went from 30,000 impressions for a new video to about 100 the next day. And then they let it climb back up and they let it climb back up as long as I kept my mouth shut. And then I did it again. I said some other thing that I wasn't supposed to say. And then boom, they dropped my impressions down to nothing again. They let it go up to like 20,000 this time per video and then dropped it down to like 100 or less. And it's the number of impressions that YouTube controls that. It's the number of impressions that determines whether your channel grows or not. That's it. There's no other stat that matters because it all boils down to what an impression means. It's when a random person goes to their YouTube homepage and they're just scrolling around looking for stuff to watch, your thumbnail will show up for them to click on. And then they may or may not click on it. A good click-through ratio is about 5%. So if they show it to 30,000 people, I can't do the math in my head because I'm brain dead. If they show the thumbnail of your video to 30,000 people and 1,500 people click on it, that's good. That's pretty damn good. And then out of those 1,500, if you got 5 subscribers, that would be all right. But when they only show your thumbnail to 100 people or less, and your impression is 5%, that means if they show your thumbnail image to 5 people or to 100 people, 5 people are going to click on it. Maybe 5. So when it's 30,000, you're getting 12 to 1,500 click-throughs. When they drop you down to 100 impressions, you're getting 5 people to click on it. Because, when you know how it is. You scroll through YouTube, you don't click on every thumbnail that you see, but they tell you how many people saw your thumbnail. And I knew that they would do that to me before I started running my mouth. I just was like, why not? Why not just be real? And I would rather have a small audience of people I get along with than a big audience where I got to walk around on eggshells and tiptoe around everything and watch what I say. And everything that comes out of my mouth is like some sort of manipulation of the algorithm, like I'm trying to beat them at their own game. No, I'm just going to be me, and whatever happens, happens. That's the way to do it. Because at least it'll take longer to do what I'm trying to do my way, but at the end of the day, it'll probably work out better in the long run. So that C word was a scarlet letter. Yeah. Oh, COVID. Yeah. How many YouTube channels do you guys watch? And I know some of you guys watch the conspiracy tinfoil hat channels. And whenever they talk about it, what do they say? Oh, the thing I'm not supposed to say, that thing that happened in 2020, the thing in your arm, the jabby jab thing, they never say it. Why? Because they know they're guarding their own channel success by not saying the bad word. And yeah, Blue Sky says, I can't find much to watch anymore because it's so sanitized. I'll tell you, before I was arrested, and I still do this to this day, but it doesn't work the same. I make a playlist every month called Pick List dash whatever month, year. So I've got a pick list, September 2024. Whenever I want to watch a video, I right click on it and I say save to the playlist, because sometimes I just scroll. I'm like, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And I'll just bookmark like 20 videos at a time. And then I'll come back when I'm doing work or something and I'll watch videos and I'll just check them out for a while. And I'll watch I'll watch that playlist. And as I watch the videos, I'll thumbs up them. I'll delete them from the playlist after I've seen them. I might add them to a different playlist if I want to share it with people someday or whatever. I'll go through the playlist. Well, back in the day, back in 2021, 2020, all those playlists, YouTube would show you in your playlist which videos had been deleted by them and censored. And so I could go back. So let's say it was July of 2021. And I look back and I'm like, what did I bookmark in April 2021? And I start scrolling through this playlist. There might have been 200 videos throughout the month of April that I bookmarked that maybe I want to watch someday. And now I'm going back to that playlist to see what's in there. Something, because I just want to watch something. And I'm telling you, at least 1/3 to 1/2 of the videos in any of these playlists will be blacked out with a message saying YouTube removed this channel. YouTube deleted this video. This video violated our community standards. This video is no longer exists. And it would be anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 of the videos in a playlist of 100 videos. 50 of them would be gone. Channels would be gone. Videos gone. Channels gone. Content gone. Censored gone. All of it just disappeared. Now, when they delete the videos from YouTube, when they censor, they disappear from your playlist. So you won't even notice that they're gone now. They must have changed they changed the software to just delete the video. It's just gone. So now you don't notice when your creator is gone. If somebody that you follow, and I've been watching, I've just seen a couple of people with over 300,000 subscribers get their channels banned and having to fight to get their channels back. One of them got their channel back. The other one is in the process of fighting them to get their channel back right now. 300,000 followers. But those 300,000 followers won't even notice that the person's gone. Maybe some of them will be like, hey, what happened to so-and-so? I used to see her videos all the time. And now they're just like, you might put it together someday that, hey, I haven't seen this person in a long time. What happened to them? And then I stopped posting videos for the last couple of weeks just to focus on doing these live streams. I'm getting comments and messages now saying, what happened, Adam? Why aren't you posting videos anymore? I am. I'm doing it right now. Like, can't you? But people get used to coming to the channel and seeing the videos under the video tab. And for whatever reason, they're not seeing the thumbnail that shows, hey, he did 2 live streams this week. So all the people that were complaining about me shooting a video and then putting it in a queue to put it live a week from now, they were complaining that my videos were a week old before I posted them. And now they're complaining that I'm not posting videos. And I'm like, I switched to going live. I didn't do it for them. I did it because I just wanted to. I did it because I wanted to do it. But you can't make anybody happy. No matter what you do, someone's going to be mad about it. Angel says, watch Michael Savage. I used to listen to his show back in the day. I'm not opposed to Michael Savage. I like him and I don't like him, but he's on the right side of I think he's he's one of the good guys. He's like on the right team. But he wasn't like my favorite. Same with like Glenn Beck. When a lot of people don't know, Glenn Beck used to have a syndicated radio show. He was in Philadelphia. and he had a morning radio show, talk radio. And he was in Pittsburgh on the morning. He was one of the funniest people you've ever heard talk. Glenn Beck was so outrageously funny. Howard Stern had nothing on this guy. Glenn Beck was so outrageous. His radio show in Philly, before he got big, was like it was one of the best fun. He was one of the funniest truth tellers I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, it was so different. It's like they kidnapped him, took him out, and replaced him with somebody else. Because after 9/11, when Glenn Beck went on Fox News and had his own TV show, that's when he changed. And it was slow. It was after 9/11 he started to change. And then he became like he became a washed up neocon turd who's not funny. And he just kind of he turned into like he joined the establishment. He lost his sense of humor. His show sucked on Fox, and his radio show sucked. And like I stopped listening to him. I stopped paying attention to him. He started to become serious all the time, but he had this morning show in Philly. It was pee your pants funny. We all used to listen to it at work. We would all turn on the radio to the same station and listen to him all morning, and we'd be howling. We would be peeing our pants, laughing so hard we'd be falling out of our chairs. But he was also a truth teller. It was a political show. But I mean, I to this day, I'm shocked. I can't even figure out what happened to this guy. He was so talented and so funny, and he told the truth. Like, he was on the right side of things, and then Fox News got to him, offered him a bunch of money, probably told him he had to keep his mouth shut and go with the flow. And he's never been the same. A lot of people liked him after he came on Fox News, who had never heard of him before and who had never listened to that radio show. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know. You don't know. If you never heard, he's changed. He's not who he used to be. Just like Howard Stern. Like, Howard Stern used to actually be funny. He was. When I was younger, 20 years old, 18. I mean, I was living in New York when he ran for governor of New York. I mean, I had a Howard Stern for governor poster. He was dressed up like Fart Man. And it was a Howard Stern for governor poster. And I had that for a long time. Just memorabilia from my childhood. And Beck indirectly said there were forces even he wouldn't mess with. They got to him. This was in like 2002. Because even after 9/11, Bernie Kerik, the commissioner of police in New York City, and Judith Regan, the Fox News host, were having an affair. There was an apartment looking over the World Trade Center that the building owners had donated for the firefighters and the police and stuff to use when they needed a break, when they needed to take a rest from the cleanup job. And Bernie Kerik took over the apartment, and he was banging Judith Regan, the Fox News host, in that apartment while everybody underneath them were cleaning up the mess and the debris. But that apartment was donated for the firefighters and the cops and the cleanup crews and all the people that were breathing in all the cancer dust down there to go be able to chill and take a rest when they're working, 20 hours a day. But they were both cheating on their spouses up in this apartment. And Glenn Beck roasted these people. He roasted them on that morning show. It was so funny. It was so funny. And he talked about it for weeks. And he brought it out into the open of what was going on with these corrupt people doing this stuff. And he would do stuff like this all the time. And then he got a show on Fox News, and it just all went away. And he just became this washed up, boring guy, just a pundit, like just like all the other Fox News people who just had no personality, just yay Bush, drop another bomb, hooray for the war. He just like he lost. I mean, he's a completely different guy. It was like they took him out and replaced him with a whole nother person. And he's never been the same since. I see clips of him here and there. I don't follow him. I don't pay attention to him, but you'll see something pop up, and I'm like, man, what happened to that guy? Because he was such a. But look at like Dan Bongino, second in command at the FBI. How many years did he do his podcast and millions of followers talking about how we got to bring down these corrupt people and we're going to go after those Jeffrey Epstein Island clients and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to clean up this swamp. And now he's there. He got the job. And what does he do? He shows up on Fox News with this look on his face. No, there were no clients. There were no Jeffrey Epstein clients. Jeffrey Epstein definitely killed himself. And they all had this look on their face like their families were being held at gunpoint in the back room. And if you don't say what we told you to say, we're going to blow their brains out. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein acted alone. There was no human trafficking. There were no clients. Jeffrey Epstein definitely killed himself. I saw the video. You mean the video that didn't exist until today? Like, hey, Alex, what's up? You can still catch these in the replay. So, I mean, I don't think we're talking about anything. Well, there were some timely things. Just, in the beginning of the show was just how my car search is going. But now we're kind of drifted away into politics. But it is kind of getting late. And I got to figure out what my next move is. I got to get over my irritation of what that guy did with that car that I was supposed to have tomorrow, and try to figure out what my next move is. There's other cars. So if I get the car, like I can tell you for a fact, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm going to be completely wiped out. Every time I go to that bakery and ride my bicycle 50 miles to do it, I'm just adding more fatigue into the jar. So I'm burning out. Every time I do it, I'm more burned out than I was the day before. One of my clients, he sees what's going on and he's just like, dude, just take your time. Get this figured out. He's not riding me. He's like, everything's, he's a good friend of mine now. And JS says maybe next video will be a car reveal. That was supposed to be today. But I don't even think I'll do the car reveal until I have it. And I've taken pictures of it with my own phone. Because I'm not, like I said, I won't even show you the pictures of the car I just bought that I didn't buy. So, because I'm too pissed off about it. That was just a real douchey move. 5 minute, an hour after the deal, or I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. But yeah, I guess there's a video that I could talk about. And I think I'm just going to save it for the next thing because it is kind of late. And if I start going down this path, it'll take another hour. And I'm sure all you guys got things you want to do. So I know where I left off in my scribbled down notes. And maybe I'm going to go watch this video again because I don't even think I don't even think I've watched the whole video yet, but I've just got so many different things going on in my head. Alex says, do a video on a prepper bike sometime. I'm going to do edited videos of that, but at this point, it's not going to be until I get a car. I got time to prep my bikes and do the bike rides. I don't have time to do a bunch of crap with cameras and all the other stuff and make the bike rides take longer. So I think I'm going to do it after I have a car. And I can plan it out a little bit when it's not forced on me to ride my bike every time I need to go somewhere. Because right now I'm in the frame of mind where if I've got to get on my bicycle and go somewhere, I just want to go and come back. What did I say I rode my bike so far this year? It was 3,722.9 miles so far this year. And not one single mile was for fun. Every single mile I ride my bicycle is because I have to go somewhere or I have to do something. And so you just get in the mindset, I just want to get there. I just want to come home. Now, when I work on doing bike repairs, I just want to get it done so I can move on and do something else. I don't want to, if I film it, if I talk about it, like it'll double the time it takes. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Alex says ride around on an apocalypse style bike, how you would set it up for hard times. I'm picking up. I got invited to be on Amazon Vine, which is where they send you stuff and you can evaluate it and leave reviews and you get to keep the stuff they send you. I'm getting all kinds of stuff to do this with. I just got a set of bicycle panniers. I got bags upon bags. I've got handlebar bags, frame bags, panniers for the back of my bike, a trunk bag. I've got an under the saddle bag. I've got like every style of bicycle bag that you can get sent to me to test and review. And so like I can set up my Red Rocket bike, which is the bicycle that I would do that for, with all of this stuff and show you like, here's how you can ride across the country on a touring bike. But even that bicycle's not the end of the world bike because both of my bicycles are road bikes. The tires are thin. I can't take that bike off road. It's not even a gravel bike. The Red Rocket, I can go on trails. I can go on dirt roads. I can go on some like gravelly stuff. Mountain bike's gonna, if the shit hits the fan, the mountain bike's gonna be what you want. But I do have a mountain bike up in Pittsburgh. I could, but I'm just gonna make bike videos and talk about how to be a bike commuter, how to fix bikes, how to do different things. And I'm getting, along with the bicycle stuff that Amazon's sending me to review, they're sending me, okay, here's something I just got today. A chest strap to hold a phone so I can put my phone down here when I ride. I can take an old phone and put it there. I have a couple of old phones that I can still use the camera on. And I can just clamp it to my chest and go on a ride and film it. And do this. I've got, what else do I got? I got two of these things. I got a clamp, a phone clamp that mounts to a camera tripod. I got another one from the same company. Try them both. I got all this stuff coming my way to do all of these. I've got it all in the works. I have to kind of be hyper-focused on getting a car right now. It's not something I can just set off to the side because it's crippling me not having one. And every day I go without a car right now, it's like completely destroying me physically, and it's starting to be mental too. It's just the tire, the fatigue. When I moved out to where I live and the bakery being as far away as it was, it's basically just a ticking time bomb to where I'm not going to be able to do it anymore because it's too much. 25 miles, get off the bike, get changed, work a back-breaking physical labor job for 8 straight hours where you can't even sit down for 5 minutes, and then get back on the bicycle and ride another 25 miles to go home. And then how are you going to feel? That's a 13-hour day of nonstop. Even like a Tour de France rider riding 150 miles on a bicycle in the Tour de France won't burn or burns about the same amount of calories I do, except they get it done in 5 hours. It takes me 13 hours. That's a 13-hour day from, I get up at 5 in the morning. I leave at 6. I don't get home until 6, 7 o'clock at night, usually about 7. From 6 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, work, bike. And I got a Toyota Echo, and that thing is on near indestructible and has crazy good fuel economy. I just sent an email during this live stream to look at Corolla that somebody sent me a link to last week on the live stream that they found on Craigslist that's really close to where I live. And I'm going to try because tomorrow's my last day. If I can't figure something out tomorrow, then I have to wait until Tuesday to try again. I get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday every week to look for a car. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm fucked. I can't do anything. So tomorrow's the last roll of the dice. We'll see what goes on. 1.8 liter Corolla. I don't even know anymore. It was in pretty good shape. It looked pretty good. I was thinking about going to look at a different Corolla, but somebody on the live stream sent me this one. It's a 4-cylinder LE 2006 Toyota Corolla LE, $4,300 with 167,000 miles on it, which means I could probably. I'm going with cash in hand because I took the cash out today because I bought a car yesterday, and the guy, 4 minutes before I came on the live stream tonight, the guy told me he sold it to somebody else. He was supposed to bring it over here tomorrow. And an hour before he told me he sold it, he told me he was bringing it tomorrow. So sometime in the hour before I came on stream tonight, I had a car. And then 4 minutes before I went live, I didn't. And I'm pissed. But that will be fun to watch, Adam. 50 miles on a bicycle isn't something everyone gets to see. I'm going to film a bunch of it. And I'm going to try and make videos that are like 20 minutes long-ish. Highly, like, edited and polished so that what I say is direct and to the point and I don't beat around the bush about things. I'm going to do everything that's in my backpack, why I wear a backpack for these commutes. And I've already done this on the channel, but I'm going to make an edited, better version of it. Plus, my backpack changes all the time, so it won't be exactly the same. So I'm going to say, here's how I commute with a backpack. Here's why I do it that way. Here's what I do. Here's my 2 bicycles. Here's how they're configured. Here's why I set them up the way I do, and do that as a video. Then I'm going to show you the different rides that I take. I've got a peaceful route that's very tranquil and bike trail oriented and woodsy, quiet, like zen. You can just get on your bike and cruise, and you don't have to deal with traffic. It's 24 miles, 7 of which are on roads, 3 of which are on busy roads. The rest of it can be bike trails and quiet, peaceful roads. Then there's another way that I can go to work that's 18 miles, but it's nonstop crazy, high traffic, cars whizzing by you, right by your shoulder, but it's 18 miles, and the average speed, because of the road surface texture and the flatness of the roads, my average speed is about 6 miles an hour faster on the 18-mile route. So it averaged, like, the 18-mile route I can do in like an hour to an hour 10 minutes. The 24-mile ride takes me anywhere from an hour and hour 20 to an hour 45, sometimes 2, if I'm just feeling like crap. So I'm going to edit them because, I mean, I'm not going to go on an hour and a half ride and make you watch every second of the ride. I'm just going to film and talk about the different ways I can go and try to make it like, try to talk about like things that you can think about if you wanted to do it yourself, like how to plan out a route, how to use the tools to make a bicycle friendly route, what to think about. Like, just make it like a series of videos where the videos are about 20 minutes each for short attention spans. and just do multiple videos talking about narrow focused things. If I do some bike repair videos, how to adjust your brakes, cantilever brakes, make that a video. Boom, done. It won't be like how to adjust everything on your bike, just how to do your derailleurs, how to do a derailleur video. Boom, done. Make it very short, make them very focused, and just put them all together in a playlist specifically for that. And I think that's what's going to get me in the mindset of being able to do more edited videos and mix it up with doing live streams where I just sit and talk to you guys. And yeah, I mean, so the thing that I like, Shell says, I'll be a nervous wreck seeing you on main roads, though. So I'll talk about how to do it safely and why I do what I'm doing. Like, you'll see me do things that you think are dangerous, and I'll explain, no, this is why I do it this way, because if you do it the way that you think you should, you're going to get run over. Like, I had to run down a feeder road for the Grand Parkway today to get to and from the bank. And whenever the traffic slows down, I get in the middle, I split the lane, and I go between the lanes and go between the cars, because you got twice as much room to work with. And if you're going faster than the cars, you can just pass everybody. Whoops. You can pass everybody. And what the goal is, if you're at a red light, you want to get in front of all the cars and get to the red light, ideally before it turns green. Get in front of everybody and claim your spot. Get in front of the car that's behind you, not to the side, but right in front of them. And then when the light turns green, you can go through the intersection, get over to the right, and then let people figure out how to pass you. If you try and stay on the right-hand side of the road, someone's going to smash you into the curb. Because if there's a shoulder on the road, different story. Stay on the shoulder, you got plenty of room to work with there. But if you're on a road that has no shoulder, there's a whole different way to do it, and you're going to keep yourself safer, even though it might seem like you're being dangerous, but in reality, it's way better to be in the front. When you get to a red light, you want to be in front of all the cars. You want to be in front of everybody in that line. Because if you're in the middle of the pack somewhere, you're going to get hit. It's just different. It's not safe. If you're lane splitting and you can't get to the end, if the light turns green, there's an accordion effect of when people start hitting the gas, and you're just going to be able to find a slot where a gap opens up between a car and the car in front, and you can just slide in there, take that space, work your way over to the right-hand side of the road, and then let the people behind you figure out how to pass you. It's way safer to go that way than to try and stay to the right-hand side of the road when all the cars are slowing down. And you don't want to be stuck in a traffic jam, 150 cars back from a red light, like tiptoeing and get, like, you don't have to sit in a traffic jam. You're on a bicycle. That's like when the apocalypse comes. That's one. I mean, if there's a line of traffic 100 miles long to flee Houston when there's a hurricane, I could get on a bicycle and be like, see ya. Everybody will be looking at me going, I wish I had a bicycle. So, but anyway, it's 3 hours. It's been fun hanging out with everybody tonight. And once I get a car, once I figure this out, it could be tomorrow. Who knows? Once I figure this all out, I'll get online and we'll talk. We'll have a good time. And I'll start moving forward I'll have a lot more energy once I don't have to ride my bike for every single, like going to the bank, 16-mile bike ride today. I did a couple other errands. Yeah, okay, 1.5 speed. I know people do that. I can't stand that. But I don't like it. Sounds like the guy who reads you the fine print at the end of the drug commercial. This drug might cause bleeding of the stool, bleeding from the eyes. This depression drug might make you depressed. Check with your doctor before you do this. If you have a heart attack, don't take this drug for heart attacks and blah, blah, blah. And I don't like speeding up the videos. But sometimes you can absorb more by speeding up what people say to get to. I don't even like reading books fast. I like to chill and enjoy a book. So, but with that, thank you all for showing up. I will probably drop a live stream. I think last time I did the random one was Sunday. So that's probably the day I'll do it. I probably won't throw up a warning in advance, but feel free to stop by and watch the replay if you want to catch up. I can't give a specific time, but I would assume I will have enough energy on Sunday to drop a live stream, unless I'm busy because I got a car and whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? But that's why it's called the random live stream, because I don't know when it'll be. But anyway, thank you all for showing up, and we'll talk again later, everybody. Peace out.